Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to today's edition. Let's share the show, please. Please, let's share the show as you follow us. The risk of being isolated or cut off as a nation, especially after the elections. Show, please, let's share the show as we await the folks from Liberia here. I've missed you guys as you've missed me. Share the show and tell us where you're joining us from. Today we'll be having a guest here with us. We'll be having a guest with us, Mr.
You will do a lot for the people who like it, it number one on the ballot.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sam calling for Zupatan. I'm calling all my fellow motorcyclists to please join me.
That is Johnson Milborn, the man from Liberia. Johnson Milborn Kula, the man from Liberia. Welcome to today's edition. Welcome and welcome. We have already gone 1 month into the campaign. It's we'll get to Johnson Milborn Kula here really quick, but we want to ensure that Isaac Jackson will be joining us here momentarily. Like we'll say politically in a jiffy. Isaac Jackson will be joining us here for us to talk about scores of things, both nationally and internationally, especially as we get toward the ballot box to make a decisive decision here on October the 10th. Isaac Jackson will be joining us here. Lots of international things to talk about. We also have lots of things to talk about in other news here this afternoon. Time here is what, 11:07 a.m. A lot of things to talk about, folks. Share the show as you come on, please. Share the show as you come on. Big announcements and things will be discussed here. Isaac Jackson will be on a set with us. We'll be bringing you other news here really quick. Folks, it's good to be back. We'll bring you other news really quick right after we hear from our man Milborn Johnson Kola here. As you can see, today is September the 9th. Interestingly, today is part of the historic day, is one of the historic days of our country. And we'll tell you briefly what that is. Milborn, as always, the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. And the Liberian people are the most important people. I have missed you guys. I missed the show yesterday because I couldn't join because I got stuck in traffic. And I also had something that came up when I was on my way to join the show. I think what I would do, Milborn, I'll probably be joining. I will do my best to be joining from the office these days, instead of coming home before joining. I'll be joining from the office, just to keep up with the show. But let us know where you're watching us from, where you're following us from. Milborn, it's up to you. Good afternoon, good evening. What's going on, Chief?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve. As you already said, indeed, we miss you a lot because, whenever you are on, there are a lot of things that happen, Yes, so Sekou also, who also part of the team, is still around. And from now, we'll be hearing from Sekou very soon. So all of you there who thinking, well, how come we're not getting to Sekou? Anytime from now, we'll be hearing from Sekou. So, yes, Liberia is relatively kind. Today is September 9, as you already said. So in 9/9/2023, and this day has been always, all of the time, remember September 9, 1990. But albeit the Liberian are gone far now to say, so nobody, most of our people mind are no longer on small states. But albeit, yes, we go month plus into our political activities, that means the campaign activities here in Liberia, since the start of campaign. We go almost a month plus now, 1 month, few days into the campaign activities, since August 5th, when the National Election Commission blew the whistle. And so far, the only political party so far to launch since the start of campaign is the ruling party, which of course is the CDC. CDC launched on the 7th of September, and there was first for other political parties.
Well, Melbourne, let me hold you there. I'm confused. So all the other one they've been doing, toting cast, bouncing around here, Joey all around. They're not launching.
No, they have their own day of launching, but all the other things that they were doing at that time, they almost like before the game start, before they put it on the field. Like for example, the way in football, maybe your coach will tell you that Steve go warm up. So anything that will happen, I was just warming. Even up to now, so the United Party and now the CPP, they too, they are all warming up until the day that they will launch their campaign official or the day that they will come out to say, yeah, this day is for only us, and apart from us, no another person coming out. Then that means that day is given to them according to the election rules or according to the campaign rules of the National Election Commission 2023. So that means if a day is given you, like for example, on the 17th, the United Party choose on the 17th to be the day of their launch or their rally, and which of course that day, no other political activity will be done by any other political party except the Unity Party. Yeah, so indeed, CDC was the only party that had their major rally or their launch. Apart from that, the other parties are still or doing some community engagements, including the Unity Party and the CPP, which of course the CPP is also in Grand Cayman and rest of the other country trying to campaign outside of Masterado, which of what they are doing right now in Grand Cayman and the rest of the other side of Liberia. And indeed, Steve, the Liberia Lone Star was to play on today, but due to what happening right now in Morocco, of the earthquake that took place this morning in Morocco that left to the depth of many thousand plus. So for that reason, I think that game has been postponed, but we are yet to hear official statement coming from the Liberia Football Association or the LFA for short. So these are happening in Liberia, and the political rally or the political activities is still ongoing. As you can see beneath my name, you see 31 days to go. So politicians are doing everything possible to win the hearts of the voters. So far so good. These are happening in Liberia, Steve, and the rest of the team.
Well, Melbourne, I know some people will get there with me, but I'm still confused, my brother. So all they coming outside, the band coming outside, they were not coming outside? Are they coming outside with me?
Yeah, all of those things, they are all political, or we are called engagements. You got to come out. You got to select a day if you want to. It is not forced. It is not bounded on you. That we always say, we have the three major containers. So apart from those three major containers, if you notice, you see that the rest of the other 17 candidates among the 20 presidential candidates, you will notice that some of them won't even come out. You won't see them even doing some community engagement. You won't see anything or such. So the community engagement is to tell the voters, oh yes, I'm into the activities. I'm here to tell you that yes, we are qualified to be on the ballot paper. So come out, come and see me. Please, this is my number. In fact, I'm placed on number this, number that, number maybe the way we can say from 1 all the way to 20. So they just do their own engagements until they can tell next, or maybe after telling next, the day that they are selected. Like for example, today, if you can see in district number 6, the candidate there in district number 6 on the CPP ticket, which of course is the Secretary General, of the Liberty Party, Marty Kula also today was seen with a lot of supporters, thousands of them today that came out today, according to him, or according to what I always said, he was opening a district office and also that's a own way of making his own acquaintance with his people. So far, this thing are happening until you can launch, Steve. And when you launch, by the time we know you get crowd or you not get crowd. So the crowd politics now has become another major thing now in Liberia. Some people are saying, oh, they kind of thing is there are no more crowd politics. But yet, indeed, in elections is numbers, and people still need these numbers because if it were not so, then we'll not be having the three best top candidates. So to tell you that yes, elections is all about numbers. So you got to prove your strength. You got to tell your opponent that yes, I have the numbers. I can make it. In fact, because sometimes to mind you, if you're not careful, the crowd by itself is another form of intimidation.
Okay, well, my people that are there, newborn and make it easy for us and say the people that come in outside, we probably don't know what's going on, so we gotta ask. You know, I don't know. I'm as confused as it gets, but hey, whatever they want to do, let them do it. Let's get to other news really, really quick. There are a lot of things are happening around the world. As Milborn said, you know, our prayers are with those in Morocco. It is very devastating. The earthquake. I knew most definitely that the game would have been held. So the Lone Star did not play today as they should have, only because you know, the earthquake. We pray for the families, those that are affected. We pray for them. We pray that God will be with them. Folks, want to get into other news here. Some updates about our President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump, his chief of staff, Mark Meadow, was denied the file a motion for them to take the case from the court in Georgia to take it to a federal court. He was denied that motion, so he's appealing now. More likely, so if they had taken it to a federal court, from what it looks like, they would have some grounds there and so forth. But fortunately, it was denied because in America, the law is the law. Your pa can be the chief judge, like Francis Kokpo. Your case will not hold. Yeah. They will go after you and you will do what you will do. You can be S Senator from Maryland. You can be S Senate Pro Tem. You can be wherever it is. Like we're seeing Gloria Mususka. We told you on day one that case was going to be hauling. You didn't believe us. Today, the case is hauling. We told you. So yeah, the law is the law. The law is the law. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of the law. That's the thing I like. The law is the law. Speaking of the law being the law, in other news, we are still following up with the case with Dr. Francine and Kifasan. We want to know how far they are because they told us the public that we're going to sue Kifasan. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's going on. We will not stupid. If you can forget, we can forget. We can forget. We want to know update from our case. So the next time we have Kifasan on here, or Kifasan, if you are watching at some point in the show, please call me or I will call you. I get your number. I will call you for us to know what's going on with our case. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. Yeah, if that thing was stupid, we're not stupid. If that thing will not forget about it, that thing will, look, let me tell you something. That thing we can forget. Yeah, we think we can forget. We can't forget. We can't forget. That we don't want to forget our year. We can forget. So we need to know what's going on with our case. We need to understand what is going on. And Isaac Jackson will be our guest Today, we want to discover and discuss the impact internationally of your decision. The decision that the Liberian people are about to make will either cut Liberia off, isolate Liberia from the rest of the world, or make Liberia to blossom or gain favor back with the international community. Somebody says, Steve, that's not your business, that's my business. That political something we're talking, and that private something, that political discussion we were on. I said, that's my business. And that political talk. I don't talk people's social life or personal life. That political talk. They discuss the president. They discuss the president of the Republic of Liberia. Job money we are. That the men discuss. A job money we are to your socially that my boy. Socially, the president, I will roll. I work with the president socially. Let me tell you, all the other candidates in a race, let me announce it to you. Socially, I support President George. We are 100% socially. It are killing Benin. It are going for two level. It are the other form for them. I will the president on that one. Me, I will the president. I will work with the president any day on that level. Any other level, we're not on a what they call. It are killing business. Me, president, my man. Oh, I discussing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie about China God. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying here is, socially, me and the president, we align. Me and President George, we align socially. The man can chill. The man know what's going on. I'm a man. But any other level, professional level, I don't support him inside. I don't support him inside. So I just want you to know that one. So we want to know what is going on with our case. We want to know how far the case gone. We can discuss Stanton and case. We can discuss other political case. That Stanton and case and what the gardening case we can discuss. Keith Hassan case. I will call Keith Hassan. Y'all, anyway, you don't even know me, sir. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. But anyway, we're discussing other news here. In other news also, I told you socially I support the president. The president, I listened to a recording where he was throwing jab at Stanton Witherspoon. Since, let me say the Liberian way, since my mom born me, President George Weah is one of the very first presidents I've seen politically that knows how to take shots and throw jab. He don't fool around. So I support him on that one. Yeah.
You're making me bold, Steve. You're making this out, my man.
My man, I said I support the president on that one, man. The one that we're going to be acting, what they call, President John Weah said it too. The men who said they claim they want to be that they don't want to go to jail, that they fact. That Stanton and so talk about moral issue. Be honest, my people. Are we serious as a nation? All the people that said I said that on our station with Stanton discussing moral issue, you are morally bankrupt and corrupt as well. Shame on you. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. I don't want to say it. Everybody who said that, and anybody who goes over there as a guest for Stanton to interview you, shame on you. As a presidential candidate, as a vice presidential candidate, shame on you. You're not serious. You're not serious. I say you're not serious. It made you there go do what you want to do. But you're not serious. Because if you were serious, you wouldn't be sitting for a criminal to be interrogating you. Who is Stanton Witherspoon? Or confessed criminal? I'm seeing you might want to make some adjustment, Anthony Isaac. I'm not seeing you, Mr. Jackson, even though we can see your name, but we can see your face. So you might want to make some adjustments, please, so that we can bring you on. So, folks, okay, he's getting ready. I can see him in the back getting ready. We'll bring him on in a jiffy here. But shame on you. You sit on a platform with Stanton Witherspoon as a presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate for him to interview. Interview for what? To say what? You got no moral already. You talk your cost job. Yeah, you talk free job. Yeah, whole day. You got no moral, no standing. You got no standing. I say, anybody who goes on our show to go there for Stanton Witherspoon to interview you, shame on you. You are a disgrace to your family, your children, your wife, your great-grandchildren, in your pa, your mom, you are a disgrace to them. If I were your pa, your mom would disown you. If I were your child, I would disown you. You're not serious. What are you made? You're not serious. You're not serious for life. You know, go sit down somewhere. You don't need to be running for presidency. If you go for mainly Stanton Witherspoon to interview. You need to be running for president. You're not serious. You actually pretend not the job we are. If you are in bed with Stanton Witherspoon, you're taking money from Stanton Witherspoon, like the Bwaka, the Joseph Bwaka by your shame. Anyway, we'll get the issue. You're not serious. I want, you know what? Before we bring Isaac Jackson on today, let me tell you something. Y'all go wear your vest shirt, your get vest trousers, get vest shirt, get vest underwear, get vest bassos. Y'all wear everything y'all come to do on the show. Y'all will get vet today because we'll discuss the issue, both nationally and internationally. The implication and the choice that we're about to make. It will go a long way. If y'all think this is a joke, it will go a long way. But we'll take a quick, short musical break here because Isaac Jackson is in the back. We don't want to hold him too long before you hold in contempt. You know the men are loyal. Yeah, the people there, you got to be careful with that. For the whole, now, you know, the men wanted to hold stand-up with content that day. I still remember the show. Stand-up kept me in the back, so we don't want to keep the man in the back. We don't want to be like content. We'll be right back real quick, folks. While we do this, please help us share the show. This will just take 1 second. The next, as soon as we get back, we'll be bringing Isaac Jackson here on. Let's be right back really quick. We'll be back. Don't you dare change the dial, folks. You're following SKTV this afternoon. If you're in Liberia and other parts of the world, don't you dare change the dial. We'll be right back.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story. Oh yeah, you know on the day, I'll be a local. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook. But I so la la, you wear the butter. Bluffing and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you in my way, I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing.
It's ever gonna be another man trash, just another man treasure. Another man fool was another man poison. Got your good, according to your measurement. Got your good, according to your measurement. The player ain't garish, and they play you for it. Just because so impression, impression, fake impression, yeah. You don't even know my story, or you want to share my glory, oh yeah. Everywhere you my way, oh, every oh you my way, oh, every touch you my way, oh.
Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing.
Folks, we are back. Thank you so much. Like I said, today the show is expected to be power-packed. You know, anywhere you have Isaac Jackson, the man knows the issues. He will discuss the issues. And it doesn't matter who you are. But I want those of you who can be making noise when we're discussing, and y'all can be all the men of God, all the pastors in Liberia, and other part of the world. I want to read the scripture quick before I bring what he needs on. As Isaac Jackson, really quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, when you read 13, this is what it says. Better is a poor wise. Let me go back to it. Ecclesiastes 4:13. You can look at it in your Bible. You're the pastor who can read Bible, but you can skip certain part of the Bible. You're a joker there. You'll say your pastor a bunch of hustlers. You'll say your pastor, you don't know what's going on. Let me tell you what's going on. Better is a poor and a wise child than an old foolish king. So that means old people can grow foolish too. You know that. But we'll get to the Bible another time. Tomorrow will tell you in the Bible where you can tell older people when they're foolish. They're not sin. Yeah. But leave that thing. We bastard people back. Let me bring Anthony on before we. Yeah, let me bring Anthony on. Mr. Jackson, what is going on?
Not much better. I'm happy to be on your show. That's all, you know.
Yes. First of all, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm humble.
Yes, I know this is not your first time. The last time I remember we had a conversation here. It was about the pacemaker.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a very, very long time. So we are back on. Thanks for making time to be able to have some of these discussions here, politically. Hey, quickly, today is historical in our country. It's historical in our country in the context of it being September the 9th, 2023. What do you say about the historicity of today? It's reported that today was the day that President Doe was allegedly killed. Not allegedly because he died, or tortured and so forth. What do you say to Liberians around the world? What do you say to those that are still mourning the death of President Doe? What do you say?
I can say to them that first, let me say thank you for hosting me, and good afternoon, good morning, absolutely to Liberian following the broadcast and friends of Liberia. I can say to those people who are still mourning the mutilation, the broad day murder of President Doe, to be counseled by the fact that God is in control of everything, and that those who do wicked deeds, the Bible says they will not go unpunished. And so we will still tell those people to continue to pray for Liberia. That was a terrible history of our country. And so it is a history that if you are reminded of, and if you genuinely love Liberia, you will do everything to avoid the repetition of that a very sad history. And that's why sometimes when we come to keep this public conversation with our people, we remind them of some of those actors and the crime they committed against not just Doe but innocent Liberian people. In my not the most recent piece, in one of my pieces, because I've been doing a lot of critique of Mr. Boaka. I think that piece is entitled "Looking Under the Bonnet of Boaka's Decision." I capture in that piece. I capture, the decline in the mental acuity of Mr. Boaka, especially owing to his decision making. I mean, I am not an admirer of President Weah, right? I am a die-hard supporter of Mr. Cummings. But sometimes, it pains me sometimes to say nice thing about Weah. But truth be told, Weah have exercised in some area prudent judgment, unlike Boaka. For all of the behind the scenes support that Mr. Johnson must have given to Weah to have him elected, Weah made a conscious decision, a moral decision, not to bring Prince Johnson close to the mansion. One day, President Weah did not invite Prince Johnson to the mansion to even drink tea, because President Weah is aware of the manner in which Yerube desecrated that office. Imagine chopping all the ears and the private organ of the occupant, the former occupant of that office, and drinking Budweiser beer. And today, Boaka wants to reward him through his godson, Kun. It's a shame that cries to the heaven. It's a disgrace that we cannot atone for. And so Liberian people who love Liberia genuinely, I said, you got to declare strong Boaka. because Boaka is not exercising sound judgment. If you go back even to the leak audio of Prince Jerube Johnson, this notorious killer, this U.S. sanction warlord, who is a stain on our democracy. If you go back to his leak audio, what is he saying there? Yeah, let's support him because when we support him, Boaka is a sick man. He is acknowledging the fact that Boaka is in declining health, is in poor health. He said, if Boaka is a sick old man, he will not go everywhere because Kun will do the work. In fact, it's our time. We get the presidency through Kun. And Liberian people are not paying attention. Even Boaka, what sort of decision is this?
Okay, all right.
So I said to Liberian people who waited, because they take all over the place. The Americans are after Mr. Johnson to account for the grotesque trauma that he visited upon our country. Small children today, when they watch that thing, they think that it's a movie. It's not a movie. That real him of being chopping the front ear off and chopping the private part off and drinking beer in the name of war. And everywhere around the world, war got rules. And Prince Johnson obeyed no rule. So, brother, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing, Again, brothers and sisters from Grand Nigeria, family members of the former president, Mahagoro, to you, I publicly share your grief. Even if former President Doe had done something bad, mutilating him in the manner in which Prince Johnson did can never ever be justified on any grounds.
Thank you so much, folks. If you're just joining us, this is SKTV. We're in conversation here with attorney Isaac W. Jackson Jr. Isaac Jackson is it's not a I would say stranger to the media or to the political landscape of Liberia, both internationally and nationally. I also like to say that attorney Isaac Jackson does not hold back any punches or any punch. He says it as it is. That's one of my admiration of him. He says it as it is, like it or not. He says it, calm, cool, collective manner. But let's come to something because there are a lot of things we have to cover today. We'll get to your most recent piece. Which definitely fall under the conversation that we're having today about the possibility of Liberia being isolated, alienated, or even kept in the dark for a very long time. Should we make certain decisions? We'll get to that. But I wanted to ask you this question. Most recently, one of the networks you were on, Stanton Witherspoon, pleaded guilty, and this ties into our elections, the politics of our country. Pleaded guilty to felony, to crime in this country. Yet, I listened to a piece of it the same day he pleaded guilty. He on his show. I listened to what the statement he made, saying that Joseph Boaka called him, Young Lee Kanga Lawrence called him, and Senator Darius Delon called him, and other folks from the CDC who he said he wouldn't mention called him. Now, here is my question to you. Here's my question to you, Isaac. What's going on? Where are we? How did we get here? That political leaders will be aligning with a confessed criminal. How? Political actors, key people from the Senate and other places. What's going on?
Again, but Liberia is at a low place. And the last time when I argued, and I was trying to draw a parallel with Boaka and the current president, and I say, Boaka and his people sometimes can make President we are locally injured because, you're talking about Witherspoon. Even though Witherspoon went to Liberia, and at the time he was not on a criminal indictment, he did a photo with Weah, right? I criticize that, but President Weah should have, NSA people should have done their homework. But that was not a direct critique of the president, but he meant. And since Witherspoon being a self-confessed criminal for being a scam artist in the U.S., President Weah had distanced himself from this man, showing some degree of moral compunction. Regrettably, Boaka, who wants to be our president, is in the constant habit of decapitating morality, denigrating morality, but still associating with this U.S. federal criminal, self-confessed. And Bwaka will have the unbridled audacity to tell Liberian people, he and his followers, shameless, they will tell Liberian people, oh, we fight corruption. How can anybody sensible believe you that you will really fight corruption when you showed and demonstrate no degree of moral compunction for the crimes that they both committed against thousands of people in Bwaka's age group? Because the Americans say, waiters pumpowa, thousands of Americans' lives at risk. And most of those Americans who live Mr. Waiters Pumpo at risk are people in Bwaka's age group, in the age of 70 and above. And Bwaka will show no moral decency for those people. It says something about that old man, that he is an old man in a hurry and he's desperate. You see, I have not brought in the man that I support to be president for our country, because he will not stoop to this level, right? Mr. Kuma is far above these things. But even everyone say, look, let's put we are so and put Bwaka so. Bwaka making we are to look like injure. We are saying I will distance myself and that's one boy. I've got about a criminal. I try my best. Even McGill, when the US accused McGill, even all the crowd, we cry, we have to look, I'll pull McGill back. How? So we are demonstrating some degree of moral compunction. Why is Bwaka not doing so? We are when McGill got accused, we put pressure on. We are move McGill. Today, Bwaka is still not removing himself from this low life called Witherspoon. This nasty piece of work called Witherspoon. Bwaka is still hand in glove, in league with this man. What does it say about Bwaka?
But let me push you a little further into this, because I know that you're speaking from maybe a Liberian context at this point, or just globally how it will be viewed. But let's talk about our partners, especially the United States. One of our ODS, the people we can rely on. Today, you and I were in the United States because of our relationship, long-standing relationship with the US, that we cannot afford to lose, like it or not. But here's my question to you. Would you say this is a defiant signal for Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, who has been in politics, who understands to some extent diplomacy, to the point that they've called him ambassador as well? He served as ambassador. What do you say? What do you say is an affront, or is this a problem that Boakai wants to bring to between the Liberian people and the American government for defiantly aligning with what do you say?
I think I mentioned it in the piece, right? That besides just the American government, who is the world leader as we speak, no civilized society will condone the conduct of Mr. Bwaka. I take you to England. When I was in England, Prince Andrew, one of Queen Elizabeth's son, in fact, her favorite son, he was friendly with a guy who is a pedophile, accused, and I think he's committed suicide in prison, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
He was accused of child trafficking and all sort of very, very, very heinous crimes. Andrew, in his misjudgment, why this man will honor federal criminal indictment, Andrew flew from England and came to visit the man. Just for doing that, for associating with this man continuously, his mother was constrained to strip him of his royal duties and titles. Queen Elizabeth II stripped, you can read it, you can Google the page. Stripped her son of the royal title for continuously associating with this man, even though this man is with Bwaka. The United States, what Bwaka is doing is to place a strain on Liberia-US relationship, and he doesn't care. For me, somebody who played a diplomatic role or a diplomatic agent for maybe 4 years, in my 5th year, I had some issue with the CDC, people had to leave. For this, just the short time that I stayed, as a diplomatic agent, not ambassador proper, but a diplomatic agent representing my country in London, I would never have made a decision that Boaka making. First, he is publicly associating me, not just publicly associating, it is now public knowledge that this notorious murderer, this notorious killer, this dangerous warlord called Prince Johnson was the man who picked for him his vice running mate. This is a man who now hawks over Boaka. He is now Boaka. He finally somebody who will be Boaka's successor because it is public knowledge that Boaka is also in poor health. This man who is on U.S. sanction, and the Americans have made it very clear, serve us public notice that anybody doing business with sanction indictee or U.S. accused sanction people or sanction individuals, America will not do business with you. In the face of that public notice that the U.S. government served us, Boaka is publicly making business with Prince Johnson. So how can Boaka and his Unity Party criticize the We Are government for featuring another U.S. accused or essential individual? They don't have the moral high ground to take, right? So just that relationship also places a strain on the Liberia-U.S. relation. That was a decline, Mr. Boaka. That's just one part of it. That's just one part of it. Then you come down to, I'm giving you the background that the man had done several other things that are just intolerable to civilized societies, right? So the American will be concerned about him making business with Prince Johnson, a U.S. Essential individual, and the Americans are clear that if you make business with Prince Johnson and those people who are essential, they will hand off you. They will not make business with you. So you put a string on Liberia relationship. But even beyond that, a fresh self-convicted criminal in the presence of Witherspoon, a man who has routinely polluted our public discourse in Liberia. Boaka is not ashamed to associate with the man and call the man his son and even name him as de facto, because he's de facto spokesperson for the Unity Party campaign. How can this morally bankrupt guy? We all came to America, right, looking for greener pasture. America has done good for us. Our children are going to good school. Even Witherspoon's own daughter is ashamed of the father. She will say in public, "Daddy, you didn't have to be a scam artist to send me to school." You know, he had to ask the court permission to go see his daughter when the daughter was graduating. The girl had to, in public, denounce him. And Boaka, you will not denounce Witherspoon, and you want us to make you president? And you think the American people will take you seriously? Beside the American people, no civilized society will take Mr. Boaka seriously or treat him seriously, because he is violating all the respectable norms and etiquette that civilized society will oblige to. He's violating everything, breaking it down.
But
That's what he's doing.
Let me ask you this question. In your piece you wrote most recently, let me quote what you said really quick. Let me quote what you said here. Quote, law-abiding Liberians may have to wait much longer for the dutiful second press release of UP flag bearer Joseph Yuma Boaka as his money man and campaign financier. Stanton Witherspoon changes his plea to guilty. Let me ask you this question, because the issue of money laundering, money being able to be traced from one point to another in the world at large is easily traceable. Based on what you wrote here, so are you insinuating that Boaka does not, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaka does not only have a friendship or cordial relationship with Stanton Witherspoon, yet by extension, he benefited from some of the stolen or ill-gotten wealth?
Oh, yes. I mean, brother, if you pay attention, you will know that Boaka is tackling the man Thomas, because the man giving him money behind the scenes. This is when the boy was paying and shouldering his hospital bill. So old man Bwaka, the papa, is disgracing even some of us who are intelligent people. You know, you work your life, you work hard, and you setting fire to everything you work for in your old age. That's the kind of thing Bwaka is doing. He's so desperate that he is observing no rules, no civil law norms anymore. He's taking money from this boy. The boy was able to help them to pay the hospital bill that Costa talked about in public, and they tried to say, oh no, Costa is not talking the truth. And I said to them, look, if you say Costa is not speaking the truth, you need to bring incontrovertible evidence to contradict what Costa has said. Because Costa is not just a passerby, right? Costa is an insider. One of Bwaka's key confidant. Now you can say a former confidant. He is spilling the bean and saying, this old man is not in good health. Now, for you to come and just give a mere denial or a bare denial, it is not adequate for the charges that Costa is leveling. You need to bring the medical report. This is the question that Unity Party and Mr. Bwaka will not answer, because if they answer this question earnestly in the affirmative, they know they will hemorrhage supporters, right? The question is whether or not Bwaka is in good health. A question that is critical for our election. Is the old man in good health? The answer to that question is an emphatic no, he's not. He is not in good health. So all the other things some of our friends will be talking about, oh, Bwaka got policy, though, Bwaka got the other policy. All of those policies will be mirages if Bwaka is not in good health to inspire his minister to do the work. Correct? So the baseline thing we need to be discussing, if Unity Party want to be earnest, is to come to the disco, the public disco, to tell Liberian people, we can trust Mr. Bwaka, he's in good health, and because he's in good health, we will be able to do business. Here is the evidence. Here is the medical report. Brother, you who here, my brother, Moses, if you get common malaria, you will come on a show, it is scientifically established that when you are not in good health, you will not be effective at work. That's why in many job places, they excuse you when you're sick. First, maybe so you will not pass on the sickness to other people. Second thing, so you will not be, you will not demotivate other people. But second thing, so that, you will be able to come back and do good work to get yourself a rest. The Unity Party people don't want to keep an earnest conversation. And some of us, we hate lies. You see, brother, so when we talk about this man being Bwaka money man, it's clear, it's obvious. The Bwaka hospital bill, we just won't pay some. Okay. Costa, we haven't helped to raise the money, the poor Costa aside, and Costa is saying that man, it's not well. But I think this old man, he is so desperate. In my quote, I even brought in, something that happened in England, which is now a quick phrase that's being used. Old man in a hurry, It was Randall Churchill in 1886. Imagine, 1886. Randall Churchill is criticizing his opponent who has been defeated by Benjamin Disraeli, Gladstone, and saying Gladstone is trying to carry on this massive reform because he is an old man in a hurry. That phrase, old man in a hurry. You know when it came about? 1886. So in 1886, Gladstone was 77-year-old, and he was being criticized for being old. 2023, our people say 78-year-old man who is not in good health is good to be president.
Well, in fact,
what logic is there, brother?
Speaking of that,
what is this? What's going on?
Let's keep that in context really quick because I want to bring you back to what you wrote, but I want to bring the age factor into context here. Speaking of that, most recently, there are different pollings, both from CNN and other pollings in this country. Joe Biden age has been questioned so hugely that he's received some decline of support within the Democratic Party. That has been one of the huge reservations that has impacted his campaign or his run for his second term. So here is the question. Here's the question, Isaac. You've worked with Joseph Boakai before, whether directly or indirectly, but Here's the question. The issue of decision making, judgments that you spoke about, even his alignment and so forth. What do you say, and what was your close proximity in working with Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai when you worked with the Ellen and Boakai led administration? What would you say as opposed to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, because they were in the same age group there? What would you say?
But you see, even Madam Sirleaf is self-aware, right? Because Madam Sirleaf, during the campaign trail, which I was on most of the time with her, along with some of our colleagues at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, she kept saying that my vice president and myself will leave a younger person behind. So that was one of the mantras she used, during the campaign. Two of us will go, we leave young people behind. She said that thing not just at a single place. She said it almost everywhere she went. Regrettably, Boakai said, no, I will continue to run. So Madam Sirleaf was self-aware that, look, age is a problem. I said it, even the Bible, the United Party people are so dishonest that, sometimes when you look at them, you just feel sorry for them, you pity them. The Bible that we all read will tell you about what? 3 scores and 10. Right? It said anything beyond 3 scores and 10, you're living by grace. You on borrowed time in political sense. And United Party people will show their ass against that. Right? And I just brought you about Gladstone in 1886. They still Gladstone was being criticized. He was at age 77 and he was being criticized. If you go to science also will tell you that people in that advanced age group, we call it octogenarian, right? 80-year above or who are around 80. There's one medical condition that most of them suffer, and Boakai cannot be an exception. It's what? Cognitive impairment. Suppose you won't be cool, you say the sinner, but I don't want to use that kind of strong word. But you cognitively impaired, it means you become forgetful.
And as evidence by that, really quick, let me interject this really quick, please.
Go ahead.
As evidence of that, because this is what we do. I run psychological testings, which we term as psychometrics. I run them as evidence by that. These are natural phenomena.
But natural.
If it get exacerbated when you have some mental disorder, but not naturally, phenomena that will happen. You don't have to be forgetful.
But you see, what I keep telling my friends in the United Party, you can curse me as much as you want, but I am a stubborn, a hard-headed realist who doesn't believe. I really don't believe that an octogenarian politician who is also ailing will rescue Liberia. No, brother. You see, we got to be realistic about this discourse. You talk about America, you try to draw a parallel with America, right? Biden, amidst all of the sophistication, the medical facilities in the U.S., very strong, very sophisticated, well-equipped. The Americans are themselves concerned about the old man's age. Now, hey, help. Now, when you get pacemaker, we're not having that conversation. All right? The American not talking about they may get pacemaker. They're concerned about how America looks when Biden stumbled and fell the other time. How America looked when he was at the meeting in Glasgow there, and he was almost trying to knob, and the security man got to rush there and shaking, acting like something, talking something in your ear. They're concerned about how the image of the president will look. But Biden against Trump, they got to close. They got to hold your nose and pass. That's what Americans are dealing with. They're not proud of this. Liberia, where all the health facility in disrepair, so to speak, I don't want to be too high on my country, but all the health facility we got it already challenged. The way you say, 80-year-old man who get pacemaker to be president and say, oh, he will rescue Liberia. Where, brother? What are you doing? You lying to yourself now. You lying to yourself. You got to be lying to yourself to say a Boakai will do heavy lifting for Liberia. Zero. It's a mirage. This is a pure definition of what? Delusion. So somebody is delusional. That's what it is. The man is almost 80-year-old. He has a pacemaker in his chest. You saying he will rescue Liberia when he needs to rescue himself first. Then he needs to rescue himself. So I'm telling our people, Liberian people, I beg you, Don't bring this on Liberia. I was arguing with one of my friends the other time. We were back and forth writing. He said, "Oh, but they help Liberia and not going anywhere because Baka still pulling crap." I said, "But brother, if you say not going anywhere, no, you're making mistake. People are deafening their ears to reality and to the message. Now they're not going anywhere. People being unrealistic. That because people deafen their ears to what? A sensible and a valid argument. So we should not make the argument. No, we got to make the argument. So I drew a parallel for the brother in question. I said, look, Donald J. Trump is on 4 criminal indictments. Yet people supporting him. So American people was when I pursue him because people support him. No, you say this thing for prosperity. You make a sensible and valid argument for prosperity. So tomorrow, if Bwaka become president, God forbidding that, if he try to school up and he spend most of his time on hospital bed, nobody will say, oh, they didn't tell us. Then we stay in your face and say, we told you that you were touring with fire, that this man was not going to help our country, that Bwaka was not going to rescue anything. You want to use the country money to advance his health care. Even though they ask us to raise money for health care, and they won't use the country now to be sending him to hospital. This is unfair. This is unfair. What Liberia needs is somebody of common sense character and integrity. A man who has worked in corporate America, who has the energy, the mental stamina, who can go in various boardrooms and woo investors to Liberia to put Liberians back to work. That's the man you need. You don't need a sick, tired old man, to kind of run Liberia. Everywhere in Africa, where you have the president in the age of 78 and 80, the citizens there are crying for change of leadership. How can Liberia be doing the reverse? These people are already president. They're in that age range, and their citizens said, no, man, enough of this thing, man. You got to change. You got to leave. In our country, we're doing the reverse. Why is Liberia always trying to do the reverse? If you're listening to me today, my conversation with the Republic is not politics. It's not political. My conversation with the Republic is, if we really want to move forward, if we really want, if it's not about our personal interest, brother, then Baka can be an alternative. We can be considering him. First thing, all his misjudgment there, all his follies, all the misjudgment there, to the extent that we are is even showing some degree of moral compulsion than Bwaka, it says a lot. It says a whole lot. And say like people, some people say, oh yeah, that old man carrying the old man what? Look, even if you were to put the old man aside and say, look, who are some of the people behind this old man that maybe we can look and say, oh, maybe they will try their best though. Even people behind him, you're concerned about that. Brani J. Samuka, a convicted criminal in Liberian jurisprudence, going to be Bwaka's key conciliary. Because one of the reasons guy who been using some of the money he took from the AFL to be using beyond Bwaka campaign. You want to trust Bwaka? You want to trust Samuka? The man who showed no regard for the military poor soldier people in our country. Noko, he's stealing from Noko. The man brave to steal from poor soldier people. That the man behind Bwaka, and you say he will do well for Liberia? Delon. Delon is dead. Let me do it. I want to pick up some of these people point by point so our people see through some of the people behind Bwaka so they will be concerned. First thing, the man is not in excellent health. His age is way up top the roof, and any civilized society will be concerned about that age. Then coupled with that, the people marching behind him. Ellis Denica Tyler, a man infamously known in the Ellen administration as Corruption King Kong. Do you really genuinely believe that Ellis Tyler going to bring about a new Liberia? He will rescue Liberia? But why are you doing this? Abraham Darrell Delon dismissed from B.W. Harris for stealing, a disgrace for lying in the public. These are the people. Nobly Kanga Lawrence, morally bankrupt, damaged Chief Cyril Allen home. This is a woman who had 2 children by a married man. He has no moral compass. Chief Cyril Allen, legally married, had 2 children by Nyomri Kanga Lauren Osa. Well, does she have any moral decency? And these are the same people who said what I'm talking nonsense about Cummings. These are the people behind Bwaka. Brother, our country is in grave danger if we do not stand up in great readiness. For me, if you know what we are, ultimately, Kumi is the man who will revive our country. Our country is in decline. We need a respectable person who will command societal respect, civilized society's respect to move Liberia forward. Bwaka and his people can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. Some of the people who support it, they criticizing one of the boy, one of the criticizing the boy. Oh, the man he failed in public test. You criticizing a young man for failing in public test, but they may be making effort to get additional academic advancement or academic laureates. So when Bwaka graduated way back, how much effort has he made to add on his degree? Bwaka is a definition of mediocrity. All his friends, PhDs and masters. Bwaka PhD? No. But why are you criticizing a young man who graduated from high school, graduated from college, went to LU, went to law school? Yes, most of the senior lawyers in the world, they failed the bar exam, they're on the path and they became prominent lawyers. Why are you criticizing me? Why are you trying to issue a hominous attack against a young man who is already up here academic laureate, and you support and marching behind a Bwaka who has a Blama-Do degree? Ever since graduated without 1 degree, I added nothing on it. So even President Weah on this account, President Weah is even better than Bwaka because President Weah, knowing his shortcoming, came here and went to one other school and got master. Can Bwaka lay claim to a master? Uninspiring, a mediocre man. You marching behind that man and you want to pull down another young man because he failed public tests. So not all the brilliant people can pass public tests, right? Some brilliant people can fail public tests. So what is this? You can't be look. But 1 minute, you can't. 1 minute. The vice presidential candidate. Is he any astute academic or intellectual? You marching behind these flunkies, these dim-witted individuals in our community, and you want to discredit another young man. Kun, you know when Kun went to Cottington? Kun went to Cottington when Cottington was in decline, and I would say abject decline. Like the time Kun went there. Yeah, yesterday. And you still had the audacity to bring down a brother who at least graduated with 1st degree, went for a 2nd degree. He failed law school exam, yes. Not all the brilliant lawyer will pass the law school exam, the bar exam. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they pass later on. But you are marching behind people who got Blama-Do degree. Dr. Sawyer was Bwaka peer. Dr. Amos Claudius Sawyer. Why Bwaka get PhD now? Amos Sawyer PhD. Dr. H. Boyman family PhD. All Bwaka peers. What Bwaka no PhD here? Eh? Okay. S. Baron Tar, Dr. S. Baron Tar, PhD. All Bwaka peers. PhD. Why Bwaka bring a Blama-Do degree? He's gonna inspire the young people in our country. A former vice president, which school his son went to? Australia. Another discredited university in America. That son went to Australia. I will be vice president. My son go to Ivy League school. I'm pushing the steady hand, go to Ivy League school. I in Australia. A Bwaka there, a mediocre man. He inspired nobody. Bronski, you know, when I was running the Bronski campaign, you know what Bronski was saying on the campaign trail? He said, "You make me president. What I imbue in my children, let me put it in your children too." Can Bwaka say that with confidence? What I put in my children, let me put it in Liberian people's children. A son go to Australia, your vice president. Australia, when I see school, Dylan went to. He ain't even passed that properly. You go to Australia, right? Australia, you want to accredit school in America? Is it Ivy League school? Australia is Ivy League school in the United States of America. Zero. No. Bwaka son when he come from they want me prime minister, marching all over Liberia. Oh, my parents do this, my parents do that. I say, but you can't be witness for your power. Your action is violative of notary law. In the notary law, you know what I say? The first rule in notary law say, any close member of your family, any close relative cannot testify for you. It can be witness for you. That's notary law, ABC in notary law. Your close relative who got interest in what you're doing, present interest and future interest, cannot witness any document. That kind of elementary concept. Joseph Boaga's son said he a power witness. Charles Taylor, imagine Charles Taylor's son telling a witness for Charles Taylor. Even Donald Trump's son telling a witness for a power with all that he's been doing here. You know, Boaga people are so. There's something wrong with these people, right? They're taking the country for granted. They're taking our country for granted. I am saying to you, brother, I'll let, but I'm making these points so Liberian people who are listening can pick up and go home with something. This old man cannot make it. He is, go to a history. I was listening and I feel bad about why a young man would be tearing down another young man because of political differences. A young man, he was going to get law degree. He got law degree. He may not pass public test, but he got law degree, brother. Your Boaga, Lama do degree. The children, can you come? Boaga, what I saw a musician, I be singing all kind of skin song. I say, can you sell? When we look and say that serious thing, you coming to here. But I'll go to the next question, yeah. Yeah, but serious business, brother. We're talking serious business. Why has he done that we will look and say, oh, yeah, make him president? And the president, we are come back and say, yeah, but brother, you continue with me because I will do my best. I made some mistake. I will correct my mistake. Yeah, go ahead. And let's come on by way up there, way up there, way up there. But you know, so I see these people sometimes they marching up and down the players. It's because of politics. We got to keep the conversation. Other than politics, we can't keep this kind of conversation. Boaga, where are you going?
So
where are you going?
I said, let me ask you this question. I want to come from an international perspective. Let me get your view on this internationally, because what we're saying that there would be a repercussion. You know, there would be a repercussion should the Liberian people vote a certain way, such as should they vote Joseph Yuma Boaga. I don't care.
Oh yes,
juju man you go to. I don't care what church you go to. There will be a serious repercussion that could be even worse than what we're experiencing in the country today, wherein there has been no foreign jobs coming at all. And here is the thing. Here's the thing. What you are saying, it might sound funny. It might sound like you're joking, but the facts.
No, serious. These are
the facts that we cannot ignore. Now take for example, Joy Howard Taylor. One of the impediments, one of the problems that have kept the CDC-led government, whether you like them or not, is the presence of Joy Howard Taylor. She has no connection with the West. When Liberian people were bouncing around and selecting the S-web of Charles Taylor as vice president, they didn't think about the repercussion. So today, you are electing the Liberian people. What do you think might be the repercussion, especially for Okun, who we on SKTV are aware that he was denied visa from coming to the U.S., becoming a vice president? What do you think might become the repercussion? Amidst everything else.
Liberia, it's an easy question. So I think it's an unanswerable question, sir, because the obvious answer is just imperative, right? The Liberia will be a pariah. You think America gonna be making business with Liberia? Oh no, Mr. Boaga with Prince Johnson hawking over the man of, like I say, any other piece, hoovering in the background like that. You know. I tell you this thing. I don't know how much this is resonating with Liberian people. My wife, my darling wife, she was sympathetic with the Boaga thing. When I come from the talk, she said, "Oh boy, the Boaga, oh man, get momentum." I said, "But baby, the momentum, not the team. We gotta talk through." When Prince Johnson started playing prominent role in Washington Kingdom, he said, "Oh no, I think I'll lead the man." Because every sensible person who loves the country, every sensible person who really loves Liberia, we have a second tour with Prince Johnson, who were in the background. My wife said, no, I think I'll leave it now, man. I think the old man making serious mistake. Prince Johnson, Prince Yerugbe Johnson. This is the man you're going to reward. Thousands of Liberian blood cry to heaven for justice. This is the man you're going to put in the face of Liberian people. That man is a stain on our country's image and its democracy. That's Yerugbe man. He behind Boaga. So, brother, if God forbid, let's put God forbid behind. Don't just say it cleanly. We only God forbid. God forbid if Boaga were to be president, Liberia will be treated like a pariah. Because, brother, first thing, right? Civilized societies. I just brought in the late Queen of England, peace to her ashes. What
Right.
she did to Andrew, her son, her own son. In fact, if you read British news, they will tell you, say, this guy was her favorite son. She was compelled because civil law norms demanded that she do what she did. Scrape the man done something egregiously wrong. The same thing, Bwaka. Bwaka, you done something egregiously wrong. Violating civil law norms and proceeding in reckless disregard to the caution of our traditional ally. Like America is our traditional ally. When I was at the IMO, Liberia and America has this traditional relations, this relations that go way, way back, right? But out of courtesy, we had to still come and lobby the American, even though they were supporters. But whenever America stood behind Liberia, Liberia got the needed votes. Liberia got the needed votes at the IMO. So we always needed to go there to correct. When I was at the IMO, I came to Washington, D.C. and met with my counterpart in the U.S. and I seen then, all of the courtesy, to support Liberia. Because when America stood behind us, we won. And indeed, Liberia won her seat at the IMO Council. All right? When I was there, they brought in Joel Howard Taylor, the American people started striking their head. But you bring Taylor where you again, brother? What's going on? The problem. Now, Bwaka is compounding it. While President, we are saying, I'm trying to correct my mistake. It's a mistake that we're dealing with. Let me understanding. I'm trying to correct it. Then Bwaka is what? It's brazen. BRAZEN. It's brazen. It's just bold. It's just doing it in reckless disregard. In law, they call it what? What they call it? They call it what? Willful recklessness. Why they're doing so? You just see bad. You just see danger. You just embrace danger. The Americans say if you do business with sanctioned individual, we will not do business with you. But I say, oh, but print I'm a de facto spokesman. If I hear the one phone print, come for me. But people say this other man here, he got fresh criminal indictment. He was for lying. Later on, he capitulated. He stole hundreds of millions of dollars from the place here and put American lives at risk. But I say, but I don't care. As long as the weather supposed to support me, I'm picking you. I will be with you. What do you think? You think the Americans are embracing that nonsense you're doing? You think they're taking kindly to it because they're just writing diplomatic notes? You know what they're talking about in the background? You think any civil law person take you seriously? That you will wholeheartedly embrace a criminal indicted who lied and later on capitulated. And he had the audacity to be on radio and talking about integrity. What integrity can the man lay claim to? The last time on one of the show, I told him, man, that man's a nasty piece of work. Because the public noticed all over the place that the man enjoyed the nakedness of his own web sister. This man is a moral degenerate. That's a man Bwaka happy way. He said, I don't mind, even if this man uses the stolen wealth from the American people to promote his enthusiastic, adulterous lifestyle. Bwaka will still be behind. Oh man, Bwaka, he says he's a Baptist deacon. Baptist deacon, this man who using his ill-gotten wealth to abuse people, women, enjoy the nakedness of married women. This is a man you still standing with?
So as a
Bwaka, man, I'm embarrassed for that old man. And those who marching behind, I'm embarrassed for them too.
So let me ask you this question. This week we heard from Chargé d'Affaires. Catherine Rodriguez, she made a remark. Basically, chargé d'affaires is a French word. It means, they're in charge of the affair.
Yeah.
Till the person who was nominated can get, finally go through all the paperwork or whatever. Somebody needs to be in charge in the meantime.
Right.
So, she is in charge. But something interesting caught my mind or my attention here. And I want to bring it to your attention. Let me get a feedback from you. This is what she said. Quote, the United States is also prepared to assist in efforts to keep these elections free, fair, and peaceful by holding accountable and responsible for engaging in activities to undermine the democratic election process in Liberia through additional measures. I want to use that word again. Additional measures such as sanction. In other words, she is not restricting the measures that the U.S. could take. However, she said one of them could be sanctioned. Isaac, what do you say about just this part or this piece of her communication to the world and to the Liberian people. This means that America has spoken to Liberia.
Obviously. I mean, the Charge is the officer in charge. In other words, I mean, if you use either synonymous, right? You know, he's the officer in charge. But you know, our country sometimes the problem we got is our people sometimes they just get moved by the crowd. And that's why I'm urging people, don't get carried away by crowd. Get carried away by substance. I think it's a policy that is not the American policy. It's not a policy that is akin to Liberia. It's a policy that cuts across the globe, especially when dealing with African countries. Because I know those people who fomented violence in the Nigerian election, they were all placed on sanctions. So it's something that the Americans are doing. They decided to do that. We're not going to. America is not going to be a safe haven for people who foment violence in their country, and we give them green light. So America is very clear about this. They're clear, but they wanted to carry it out in Nigeria. I'm sure they're going to carry out in Liberia if people think they're going to use violence, to undermine the electoral process or to steal the votes of the Liberian people. They're going to media Waterloo. I mean, America's clear. But for me, the obvious signal, because why guys want to know what diplomatic signaling is. This is a man who rejoices in the title of being called Ambassador Bwaka, right? He rejoices in that title. He enjoys the title. How can you enjoy being called ambassador when you're doing things that are completely adverse to diplomacy? Diplomatic signaling is where the American already started signaling to you that you're number two man. It's not credible enough to come here. Rumor about him being denied visa should be concerning to you. And Bwaka is not concerned about that. Bwaka is like Randolph Churchill said in 1886, he's an old man in a hurry. And this is a danger. When the old man in a hurry, he respects no norm. He values no norms. Absolutely. He's just breaking down everything, breaking down every respectable norm, every respectable etiquette. How can you be, gloriously associating with a guy who just admitted to putting thousands of American lives at risk? You think American people take kindly to this? Bwaka, you think they take kindly to this? How can you pick a Prince Johnson protege? The man who, before he wakes up in the day, has to speak with Prince Johnson. How you doing, Chief? What do you think Prince Johnson and Kun got in common? Almost every intelligent person in Nimba are very, very much circumspect. They're wary of Prince Johnson. They know his history. They're wary of the man. Why are you not scared of Prince Kun? Why Prince trusts you so much that he will even leave you in charge of his party? What you got in common? Because birds of the same feather flocks together, right? You know what I say? Is it the cannibalistic activity that the people accuse Kun or in Nimba? And then Kun has been accused publicly of engaging in cannibalistic activity in Nimba. Cannibalistic activity where people murder small children, extract their body parts and sell them. He's been accused of that. He got to clear the air. But that's an allegation that is in public. Right. And public accusation that dispel remain to be true until they are adequately dispelled. In law, they call it what? Adaptive admission. When somebody say bad thing about you, you not clarify properly and convincingly, the public will believe it to be true. You understand it? So, Kun, you've been accused of engaging in cannibalistic activity. You cannibalize the local politics in Nimba. Is that what you got in common with Prince Johnson, who took pride in murdering thousands of Liberians, and he still want to go unpunished? No, Prince should not go unpunished. We need to punish Prince Johnson to tell other people that it's bad to just kill people in the name of war. The man who carried electricity to Caldwell, Prince Johnson murdered that man in cold blood. All right? Roosevelt looking. Today, Roosevelt looking blood cried to heaven for justice. His children are all over the place. Prince Johnson has not even exercised the common decency to go to that man, to his children, and apologize. Prince Johnson, is that Prince Johnson you're going to put behind you, Joe Bwaka, in the name of politics? You see what he's doing? You know how many people they may kill? Innocent people? A man who graduated at the top of his class, electrical engineer, ranking everybody who ever worked with LEC, LEC struggling. You know why he's struggling? Because those competent individuals, when they got killed by Prince Johnson. You understand it? He's not a man who you're going to be treating as a serious person, and you be treating, on this kind of get we are green light. Because even for the vote that Prince Johnson gave we are yesterday, we aren't bringing near the mansion. We are no better than to bring. So you think we are clever more than Bwaka? Bwaka, you old, but you're not seasoned. Because when you old, we expect you to be wise. You think I want to dope that boy kill, Prince Johnson kill, that old man kill? Prince Johnson kill plenty of good, decent human being. In the need of war, and Bwaka should know that war got rules. That's why they go on a killing spree. Killing people and drinking ball waters of beer, and you want to bring him in a subtle way to the mansion. Even though you Bwaka have other people you could work with. You could work with Kofi Woods, a respected human rights lawyer, and a progressive. They were working with you. You could work with Brother Costa. He's a young man. Say all you want to say about Costa. Costa is a young man. You could bring other young people on board with you to dash those people. Even my own sister, even though I know she's not competent, but she could bring the women factor though. You dash all the people and went for this guy who is a disgrace to our generation. Coon. Somebody you can't. I mean, my problem here is look, the hypocrisy is so sticky. You marching behind Bwaka and Coon, people with mediocre degrees, and you putting your mouth on a young man who making intentional effort to get master degree in law, even though they fail bad tests. But Bwaka get Blamado degree. Tell Liberian people the degree that Bwaka get that Blamado. You know what a Blamado degree? That one degree you get ever say you get anything on it. A Blamado degree. Even the dealer, the young man who trying to tear down his friend. Imagine Dylan as a boss man. You can imagine the hypocrisy, right? Dylan is your boss man. Another man who is mediocre so much that he made mediocre look bad. Dylan doesn't have a 15 high school paper to show to anybody that he genuinely graduated as a bona fide high school graduate. These are your boss men in your Bwaka movement, and you would have down cry a young man. I think God said he's doing his best. He's a young man who got ambition. He's fighting for his ambition. He's fighting with something. He's making effort. What effort Dylan made? Dylan are your boss man. What effort did he make, brother? Dylan got degree. He got 0 degrees. Zero. Nothing. Bwaka got Blamado degree. Kunja graduated from Cottington when Cottington was in decline. Epic. And I said, abject decline. You're still behind, brother. These people behind Bwaka, it is the arrogance of these people behind Bwaka that will make Bwaka to not win. The arrogance, the thing they know everything, right? The other time somebody got to put all error on their paper, but you say my MATC, the president over brother. You say you know all the boys, you spend my on your flyer. Because nobody knows everything. We gotta be humble. You don't know everything. Oh, you're picking on the other point. Brother, if we really want Liberia to go forward, Alexander Benedict Cummings is our ultimate choice. If you say you vest with we are coming down in our local parliament, you frustrated with we are, you don't do well, but don't go behind Bwaka. Bwaka will be a complete disaster. Bwaka is a mental catastrophe. Anybody who can make judgment and decision the way Bwaka makes is a mental catastrophe. Don't go behind him. He's a disaster waiting to happen. Don't go behind Bwaka. He demonstrated so much that he's no leader. You bring in Prince Johnson to the mansion through his godson, his simulacrum. You think we can take it? You think American people they happy about this? You're making all these poor moves, and you said that because you want to play on the gullibility of our people. You think you want to do this to our people? Oh, if Papa being around long, so you let that gain your last year. No, Papa being around long doing bad things. He been promoting political tribalism. He's an ethnicist. He's a divisive politician. He said Congo man will never be a vice president. When Congo people are legitimate people, legitimate citizens, they work for Liberia, they pay taxes. We are all one. As old as Bwaka is, he will not promote a message that Liberians are all one. They will look at the Kumi Bronskin ticket and call it Congo ticket. These are the people who want to devour our country. We got to say enough of this. Enough of this, Bwaka. Your political tribalism have taken you far, but this is your last point. Liberian people are one. Congo, no Congo, we are one. We got to move our country together. We got to create opportunity for Liberians to get back to work. That's why we support Alexander Benedict Cummings. He said he will make sure that Liberians go back to work. He will bring companies, industries for Liberians to go back to work. He will make sure that Liberian children will get good education. He will revive the educational system of our country so that young people today, with the declining Liberian educational system, he will make it better so that your children will be the future leader of our country. This is what Mr. Kumi is promising to our people. New schools, good teacher, he will bring to Liberia. This is what Liberians want. We don't want political tribalism. We saw what tribalism did in those Liberia, man. We can't afford this. And Bwaka is promoting political tribalism. He's peddling tribalism. He's a tribal bigger. I was on the show, one of his men said, but your papa believe in tribal epistemology. He said, well, that big world, you can speak big. And I said, yeah, because I went to good school, so I speak big easily. You know, the man who believe that, even in the Lofa, he still believes that his ethnic group is better than the other people in Lofa. You saw the recent senatorial election? You see how he conducted himself? He saw he couldn't support the other man, you know, because I said, man, I ban him. You know, Bwaka, even in that's when you say the person is a tribal epistemologist, that's what it is. You just believe that he ethnic group better than everybody, or all the other tribal group in the place. You know, and that's what Bwaka is. So he will not even say, okay, let's go and support the councillor here. He wanted our son. Every time we've been supporting my own people from a tribal group, let's support them. He will not do it. That's the man you want to make Liberian president. And you, on top of that, you put Prince Johnson behind him. You see where he carry the country? A hardened tribalist and a notorious killer. You put them together and you say you will get good Liberia and you rescue Liberia. No, they will not rescue Liberia, brother. Kumi is the way. Yeah, take Kumi. If we don't take Kumi, it's up to us. Tomorrow we'll explain ourselves again. But Kumi is our choice. And even if you put we are Bwaka there, brother, I'll tell you, we have been making some sensible move better than Bwaka. But what I explained to you, do you disagree with that?
So I say really quick though, really quick. You know the points you've made here, you know, Liberians listening via the radio, social media, and so forth. And I'm reading the live feed. You know, I'm seeing some Bwaka fanatics and some Unity Party partisans, you know, attacking you directly. Let me just make the disclaimer. On SKTV, you already know. Let me say this. When you leave from SKTV, you won't go on Isaac's personal page to attack him. That's fine. Our guests, you disrespect our guests, we will send you packing. I don't have no time for foolish people.
Brother,
do not disrespect our guests. That is the rule. Yeah, we all know the rules. If you disagree with what he says, do it respectfully. If you curse our guests, you insult our guests, you disrespect our guests, you will be blocked, and you will not be unblocked until doing inauguration time. That means you have to go create a fake page, and you come out with fake page, I will block you again because myself we are understanding the timing.
Brother, let me tell you this. Let me say that quickly. I know you want, brother. People can insult me as much as they can, as they want. I am not moved by small children insulting me, and I'm not worried about small children insult. Because the truth I'm saying is a truth that will outlive all of us. Put aside the so-called insults, right? Ask them, has Mr. Weir continued his relationship with how you call it, Witherspoon? Is Mr. Weir in solid relationship with Witherspoon still? No. Why do you think Mr. Weir made a conscious decision to avoid this man? Because this man is a criminal who is going down. We all now know. In the face of this reality that we all know, that Witherspoon is a nasty piece of work who put thousands of American lives at risk. Bwaka still in league with the man. Even when Witherspoon was on a criminal indictment, Bwaka issued a press release when his radio station was being closed by the young brother. For slander and all the things that he did. Yeah, who issued press release? Bwaka was the first person who issued press release in a row. But Bwaka, why are you doing this? Even now that the man has confessed to be a criminal, as the Americans said, have Bwaka issued the press release? That was in that piece. I said, let him issue the other release. We're waiting. Because if you are a genuine leader and you want to lead our country, this is where you demonstrate leadership. If you thought it was wrong for Comrade Smith to take the man to court on the basis of slander, and the government said because this slander was filed with an attachment, we have to get the man's station under control so he doesn't put it in somebody else's name. He thought it was wrong, the court was wrong. The American has said that this man is a notorious scam artist. He's a con artist. What have Bwaka said to the Liberian people? Zero. So you don't think that we are exercising some degree of moral compunction above Bwaka? Because saying it or because the message coming from other Jackson, so you want cause? But that's true. That's true. All right? You know, brother, the education I talk about. Is it not also true that we are value education or higher education? So much so that when he came to America, he registered himself for master's program. Has Bwaka done anything like that? Does he have a master's degree? I don't know. But what we know of Bwaka, he get BSc, and a Blamado BSc degree he still got. Correct? How is he inspirational? So when people follow behind him, try to cause a young man because the man failed in bar exam, even though the man is making genuine effort to get additional academic laureate, then I say, but that's blatant hypocrisy. Because not all the brilliant people can pass public tests. It's a different terrain altogether. But how can you be criticizing a young man, bringing down another young man, when the man you're marching behind has a Blamado degree? How? Is it not hypocritical? You're marching behind Kun. Kun went to Cotton when Cotton was in abject decline. Cotton is not a Cotton that was no pre-war. Cotton is in abject decline. That's how Kun went there. The Kun man you're marching behind today, who was in league with CDC for 5 years, without even criticizing CDC one day. That's the man you be. So anybody can be in league with CDC for 5 years. By the time they jump from behind CDC, they're a boss man. Yeah, young brother, why are you doing this? They begin setting fire to everything that they work for in the need of supporting Bwaka. Well, if Bwaka was somebody who value education, how did he not go to acquire additional academic degree since he got a one BSc? All his friends got PhD. Dr. Claudius Sawyer, PhD. S. Baron Tar, PhD. That of H. Berman family, PhD. What Bwaka get? Blamado degree. And you say you want to put more on somebody. Even your Dylan, who is the boss man, because Dylan is a ranking member in that group. Dylan, who is a ranking member in your group, what degree he got? He can't even prove convincingly that he graduated from Wellheston, another discredited school in Liberia. Dylan can't even convince you that he graduated from Well. Can you imagine the man can't even graduate from Wellheston? Wellheston. That a man you marching behind, you say, oh, a clever man. Clever people you marching behind Dylan and like a boss man, you say, you clever man begin. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that to yourself? In the need of being a Bwaka, it's a diehard supporter. You're going to march behind people like Dylan? I mean, you're a brilliant beginning. Yes, I agree, you're brilliant beginning. But look at the thing you're doing. Look at how much you're dragging yourself low now. You're marching behind Dylan. Nobody can get Lauren is supposed to be your moral icon. A woman who got 2 children by Cyril Allen when she was not married to Cyril Allen. You don't see her as an adulterous woman? Is that morality? What does private morality mean to this man? You're gonna be behind one young man, but you man making effort. So, brother, let me say this. I'm saying this, send the Bwaka people here and listen, they hear me. Brother, I've been in the terrain for a long time. I don't worry about Gina coming and talking. This is a serious conversation about our country. So Gina coming and bringing water going, it will not move me. All right? These are intellectual water going. I'm not moved by that. What I'm moved by is the truth that I'm talking here. And this truth here, even if Prince Johnson were to come before me, I will say my truth in his face. Prince Johnson, you are a notorious killer. You kill innocent people. The Americans want you to answer for the grotesque trauma, the wicked things you did in our country. Look at how you traumatized our country, killing our former leader on camera and drinking beer. You Prince Johnson, now you're pretending in God's name. One of the old progressives, I'm talking to one of the poor progressives in private. You know what he said? He said that Prince Johnson man, he said, talking God, he said, have you been to a church, Isaac? I said, no, I haven't been to the church. I mean, I don't go near a church. They go to the main church. They have sculpture there that even look like demons. That Prince Johnson. Have you been to the church? Go to the church, carry a camera there. I mean, these are people who call God's name in vain. You don't see them wearing quite clothes. They wear clothes in public, in private. But the thing about deal with these boys are some of the people are demonic. So don't my thing is, if we're going to be intellectual, let's be intellectual about the conversation. You don't tear down another young man because you're supporting Bwaka. Hey, young man feel law school and say, fine, but he making effort. Whatever Bwaka make. So the people who causing now, right? Your people who are now throwing insult. Let them answer the question. Why does Bwaka have a PhD? Did he inspire anything beyond that PhD? Did he go for anywhere beyond PhD? Beyond the BSc that he got? So is it not true that the other young brother is better than Bwaka? Because at least he making genuine effort? Bwaka was former vice president for Liberia. Which school did he send his son to? Australia. A big girl, man.
Isaac, let's see if we can get Milbo on. Maybe we can take one or two calls here from Liberia. Let's hear from the viewers and the listeners. Maybe they might have one or two questions for you.
I'll be happy to answer any question. Even with an insult, I'll answer, bro. I'm not worried about insult. That's part of the discourse.
If you're there, let us know, please, so that we can let us know, please, if you're there, so we can take one or two calls from our viewers and our listeners from Liberia. We'd like to hear from the people based on some of the things, the danger, the risk that we are faced with as Liberians. Should we elect, especially Bwaka TK, amidst everything that is happening? Isaac would say, God forbid, and I would have to agree with him. We've said this continuously, and people think it's a hate message or we're against. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. You have to be living in another world. Not even wanting government job or be desperate. You have to be living in another world amidst everything that's going on, to ignore it and bring such a trouble and a problem on us as Liberians. But Melbourne, up to you. Let's take a few calls, please, if you can.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Even though we've been facing some technical hinges because of the heavy weather, the rain before. So before the others start calling over. So if you know the number, you can please in your calls. Let me get to the line, pick my first caller. Hello. Yeah, how you doing? Your name and from where you join us? Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I would love to know for him what is about when justice is secondly, you talk about chapter water school and that's similar. My question to you is so that chapter 40 what's the water school? That's my question. Thank you. Good night.
All right, good night to you from our end.
What did you say? What is it, bro?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is it? Water spoon?
I will have an interaction. You spoke to this president. We are when you that all social journalists are hope many of this will so you can go to speak to that people. Don't be
I don't know what happened. You say what you know.
I can't understand that, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. All right, thank you. So this caller, good evening. Hello? Hello? Because coming 077-833-9682, Tiffany will call over to Steve because I think the line, the network is really, really terrible. So, yeah. So, Steve, if you can take calls from outside, then we'll no problem.
Yeah, definitely. Once we get any call from here for Isaac,
Yeah, so
but you might want to eat.
yeah, I want to see what I can pick up on some of the things the person. The first person was saying something about wow, waiter spoon. What did he say about waiter spoon? I didn't get it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to say about wait. I didn't understand. I didn't get the question that first person was answering. You get involved over what he said. But I saw you talking about black. I thought you saw about water spoon and Prince Johnson. Look, let me. If I understood that man to I said today I know Prince Johnson a bad man. No sensible Liberian president will tell you that today they know Prince Johnson a bad man. Everybody in Liberia, intelligent and honest, will tell you that Prince Johnson is a notorious killer. What has happened in past is that people of conscience, in the name of politics, have ventured with making business with Prince Johnson behind the scenes. It's one thing to have something in the back of your mind. Say, look, I can wear with a crook here behind the scene. It's another thing to bring that crook in the forefront, like what Bwaka is doing. When you bring the notorious murderer in the forefront, like what Bwaka is doing, then it shows that you are morally bereft. Then you show that you are bereft of moral rectitude, right? It means you empty. You are a moral vacuum. If you want to, you a bad man who corrupt, right? They want some guy, they can go in the corner, they know they get that corrupt. So you see with me in public, in the net sneak. I mean, those people, they're still gonna conscience where, yeah. But if you would take that kind of money, is that marching up and down the street, they say, oh no, something wrong with the burger. So that's a point here, right? People who operate there with Prince, they did it behind the scene, they got some degree of moral caution. And they say that man is too dirty to hang around in the public with. Right now, Bwaka, he had banished, he had cast aside all the moral hinges, so to speak, right? All the moral schools. He just threw everything away. He said, I don't care. I'm an old man in a hurry, brother. The president, if I get out with that, so brother, I will be with Prince Johnson in public. If I Prince Johnson will not be my de facto campaign manager. I Prince Johnson will be calling people on the phone. Oh, Bwaka say, I can't follow me. Then we will take you. All that kind of useless rhetoric. Where are you carrying that nonsense? Nima people gotta take it, so you gotta go. Well, Prince Johnson. This man is a stain on our country's image, and Bwaka doesn't see it. This is why it's painful. So, brother, Bwaka is doing the worst. That's what I say. He's doing the worst. He's banishing all the moral compasses in the world, just to show off what the guy in the public. Now the other thing about what that's my brother. When some of us interacted with Witherspoon, it was in 2021, 2022, thereabout. Nobody knew that the man was going to be an indicted man in 2023. So even with President Weah, who took picture with him, they didn't know. But when President Weah got to know, when my own Christina Barrow got to know that this man was a low life, was a nasty piece of work, everybody avoided him. All right. So Kumi not taking picture with Witherspoon anymore because he's aware now that that man been doing terrible things in the dark. He know about the man nastiness, right? So somebody like me, I'm not gonna hang around with how do you call it, Witherspoon anymore. Even Witherspoon own born daughter had to say to him in his face, Daddy, you didn't have to engage in what they call artist thing to support or to sell the school. You didn't have to engage in a crookery, right? Crookery. President, we have brought crookery, so we got to use it now, right? The crookery, you didn't have to engage in it. Bro, I said this in private one time with one of my friends, my closest friend, Lami Pago. I said to Lami, I said, boss man, from the short time I stay in, because boss man is the kind of language of endearment that we used to use, when we're friends of Bronski and Liberty Party. I said, boss man, for the short time I lived in America, about 2 years now, I said anybody who has the bravery to come to America, Liberian man or African man, and steal, I say criminality got to be in your DNA. Because the system here, bro, is such that It will prevent you if you got any morality. It's just any morality in you if you get it. It will prevent you from stealing. The player I doing my hustle 1212. I spent $20, brother. I wrote whole page. Just to get $20. So people who come to America and engage in stealing and scam artists, they got criminality in their DNA. That's what Witherspoon is. So when you see him on the radio and sprouting nonsense, don't believe it. My man, I quoted that the family when I went on the man's show, right? That the family said, well, for people who can kill and steal, lying, I play team. I play team. Witherspoon, he ain't scary. He put thousands of American people live away. He can steal. So to lie on people or something, it's an easy thing. It's an easy thing for the ball. The ball just lie. He's cannot last everybody who disagree with him. Even his friends got to lead the show to establish their own school because he tried to lie on his friends. When somebody said the man is a nasty piece of work, go and check it out in the dictionary. And I've produced it, brother. The man is a nasty piece of work. He's beyond redemption. We just got to pray for him, but brother, I don't know. You know what I mean? If they make engage in such egregious conduct in America, you come to America and steal, brother, criminality in your DNA. Because then people say, when I gave you chance, they're going to steal. That's what Witherspoon have been doing. You know? So he's a dangerous fellow. For Bwaka to knowingly and proudly and joyfully associate with this man and continue to do so, even in the face of the man's confession, it shows that Bwaka is not a good leader. That everything he's saying with him more, and I mean it from his heart. Because, when you say, you got to show action. So now it's not just the words. If you say you will fight corruption that has been cancerous in Liberia, eating all him, everything in Liberia. If you tell me you will fight corruption, then your friend cannot be a convicted criminal in America. You can't be in league. So if government pay a Bwaka with a win, you think he was there, the general will say, what does man go, sir? No, he will be beholding to Witherspoon, to Ellis, Jenica Tyler, and the rest of the people there. All right? So that's why we're saying you got to be careful. Last time somebody asked me, oh, but Jackson, you got to do the distinction because some bad people behind your man Kumis. And I said to them, look, I said there's a distinction here. Bad people being behind Kumis is different from bad people being behind, how you call it, man, Bwaka. I said for Kumis, he has no teeth, right? No, he's not tainted by anything. So his integrity towers. I say if you were to check in medical terms for Bwaka is vulnerable. You know, when you get underlying sickness, right? When you get that underlying sickness, when COVID came, they say people who have underlying sickness, right? People who have underlying sickness, those people were easy to succumb to COVID, right? For COVID to drag them in the hole. I said that's the case with Bwaka. I said because if you check Bwaka's history, political history, Bwaka is scandal plague. All right? Joe regime, Bwaka got dismissed for corruption. $2 million they gave to the Ministry of Agriculture for the Green Revolution. It disappeared between Bwaka and his chief accountant, a guy called Fode Masikwe, right? So Bwaka is tainted by that. So that was in political terms, that's an illness. That's a political illness. He got dismissed on the basis of corruption at the Ministry of Agriculture. So that's a thing. In the political sphere, during the soil transitional government, interim government, Bwaka also got dismissed from LPRC. That the soil explanation he provided in the public, which I listened to and read, was that a powerful woman in the administration asked him to dismiss Bwaka. And he was under pressure, so he dismissed Bwaka. So his reason for dismissing Bwaka during the interim government, he said it was political. So even if Bwaka was dismissed for political reason, that's a scandal. All right? That the soils are dismissed for political reason. So there's a political scandal here. There's a corruption scandal here. I believe, that Tosoya was speaking at the time Bwaka was vice president, and we all know that Tosoya is a respected statesman, right? A very intelligent man. Bwaka was already vice president. So you could not come and say, Liberian people say, oh, I dismiss him for corruption. They may already vice president, gentlemen. I dismissed the man for political reason. There was a powerful woman who asked me to dismiss him. So on the basis of that woman request, I didn't want any problem, I dismissed him. But I can say to you, Brother Moses and the other colleague over there, if you are really respected by your friend, A nameless woman will just ask your friend to dismiss you and they dismiss you. If you are a composite, a critical member of the government and doing well, a nameless woman will put pressure on the caliber of Dr. Sawyer to just dismiss you on political grounds. I said, no. Bwaka have always been a guy who doesn't show leadership. And Sawyer, they didn't want to get into the gutter and all that thing, so he kind of gave us a plausible explanation. But I am saying, let the deals. Let's bring common sense to high places. If you're doing good work, diligent work, one woman who Sawyer didn't need, because Sawyer didn't call the person by name, right? So let's say she's a nameless woman, an unnamed woman, came to Professor Dr. Sawyer, that venerated political figure, that respected statement. And the woman just say, dismiss Bwaka, and he just went and dismissed Bwaka. No, something under there, but the old man won't talk. All right? But Costa say, well, man can't talk. Oh, so Sawyer said, look, one woman asked me to dismiss the man. It was a political decision, so I dismissed him for political reason. So Bwaka got 2 dismissals on his belt. He's tinted already. So because he's tinted already, he is vulnerable. And because he's vulnerable, we can't keep all the corruption bandits behind him, and you think that he will not be susceptible to corruption.
Yeah, let's go back to that Dr. Sawyer's assertion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question that one might ask is why did the woman want Bwaka dismiss?
I mean, Sawyer didn't. The professor doctor, the late.
So I know Dr. Sawyer might not have said the reasoning. But the question becomes, first of all, did Bwaka commit a crime that warrant him being sacked or let go from the government? You understand? Because if this was personal issue, it was a political.
That Sawyer far on a political, right? But the point I want to drive home for the audience is, if Dr. Sawyer had great respect for Bwaka, if Bwaka was doing real brilliant job and he would rely upon an LPRC, with a call from a nameless woman warrant his dismissal, I said no. So Sawyer Sawyer is an intelligent old man. He's a former statesman. He's got skill. So he had to find something intelligent to say, because Bwaka was already vice president. So Sawyer could not come and say, oh, I dismissed him for corruption. He just found something plausible to say and he went by. But I'm just saying, commonsensical analysis. If old man Bwaka at LPRC, he was the one doing everything, and LPRC was at its peak and functioning well. A mere request from a nameless woman who warranted his dismissal, I don't believe it. Because he was not doing any serious work there. So when the woman came, the so-called powerful woman came to Dr. Sawyer and said, look, you got to dismiss the bugger, you're not doing anything, blah, blah, blah. So I said, but let that man go. I'll throw that boy away. And then, in a minute, you're not doing anything. He's not anything. He's an SS beggar. So, when a company ready to retire people, right? When a company ready to return people, right? They tell the SS people for left. They don't tell the critical staff, right? Where all you see redundancy taking place, that the SS people who float it, like you throw it away for, right?
So I got a call here. Let me take this call up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Yes, caller, what's your name? Please turn the stuff from behind you, your monitor, please.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. This is Bud Dino calling from the state of Iowa.
Yes, please go ahead, Mr. Dino.
Yes, Steve. Why you sitting down there? I said it's lying. When Honorable Sawyer died, Sawyer came up before his death. When people were accusing women Bwaka, Sawyer came up and said Bwaka never did nothing. It was a pressure from other people. That time Bwaka was not even president or vice president. It was just point blank when the man explained to the world that Bwaka did not have any other contact to do with any other corruption. And 2, Honorable Bwaka came and told the Liberian people when he was dismissed by His Excellency the late Samuel Kedo, he said it was political. He doesn't join, NDPL. That was, you say, I say, if you have nothing to say, go back to Lowlands. We tired of lies. And the old man said it before he died. Baka was not vice president. Thank you, member of Steve. Thank you very much.
Okay.
No. I mean, firstly, let me correct the brother who called. You see, the man who called, who is a Bwaka supporter, I think he has suspended his critical faculty, because to come here and tell a deliberate lie and contradict everything we're trying to put forward, which is true, it says something about that man mindset, because there are people who are just dogmatic in their ignorance, right? They married to ignorance. So that's the problem with that guy. He didn't even contradict me when he talked about soil statement. That's a soil. We all everybody is aware that soil passed, right? Everybody is aware that Sawyer made the statement that indeed a woman, a powerful woman, asked him to dismiss Bwaka, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the man trying to clarify? We're not contradicting. Sawyer was interviewed by journalists. And I believe at the time Sawyer did the interview in question, Bwaka was already vice president. He didn't want to embarrass Mr. Bwaka, so he found something plausible to say. That's what any intelligent statement would do. And I still say peace to him. Actually, Sawyer remained venerated by all of us, right? So for this guy to come here, my argument in chief is, if Bwaka was doing something critical, if Bwaka was importing at that LPRC and doing very good work, a woman who Sawyer did not name, would you call Sawyer say, move the man, and Sawyer just move the man? No. So it's a political scandal. I'm saying Sawyer said, I dismissed the man for political reason. This is the political reason. What do you fire on? You fire on a political scandal because Bwaka was dismissed. We will not erasing the man who called. They didn't erase the fact that Bwaka was dismissed. All that I'm saying to you here, Bwaka got 2 dismissals on his belt. He is tainted. The other thing, when he goes to the Doe regime, Doe say, I dismissed this man here for corruption. There was a committee set out. The committee carried out the investigation. At the close of the investigation, the finding was stated that Bwaka and his chief accountant were culpable. They were dismissed. Bwaka own explanation that they want his Pudo is trying to market. That means it's Bwaka Pudo, right? Bwaka Pudo can say, government, if you want to be dismissed for corruption, Moses, and the administration says you dismissed for corruption, they only ask you, Moses, what they dismissed for? You will not give political explanation. They say, they dismissed me because they want to join NDPL. That's Bwaka's explanation. His Pudo is trying to shamelessly market. The administration's account is that Bwaka and his chief accountant, who Bwaka still hold around, Mr. Mafode Masekwe, they misapplied the $2 million that was given for the Green Revolution.
So then here's the question. Here's the question to you. If this was a political venture, if this was the question or the issue of Bwaka joining at that time, the President Samuel Kando's party or the ruling party at that time, if this was the issue, why bring in an accountant? If it was not money related, if it were not finance related, why bring you just asked a very, if I understood you right, you asked a very sensible question, right? Because Bwaka was not, so is that Bwaka Pudo, who is very shameless, is he not aware that Bwaka and his chief accountant were dismissed for the Masekwe? And if I said Bwaka and for the Masekwe were dismissed, today, Bwaka's for the Masekwe still remains in Bwaka's grip. Because Bwaka doesn't want for the Masekwe to explain the circumstances on which $2 million was misapplied at the Agriculture Ministry. Bwaka has always been working with this for the Masekwe man. When Bwaka was vice president, he gave for the Masekwe a job in his wife's office to the 04 group of 77. So what am I trying to say? Their own man, Dylan, that other dog idiot, Dylan, his own post, it was Dylan who even put on the newspaper article explaining Bwaka dismissal. And this other Pudo come and say, as a jazz, you're talking, Bwaka was dismissed because that. So all the people who do ask to join NDPL do dismiss them. That's a scam. That's a lie. He's not even clever to lie properly. But even at that time, let's be honest, honor of military regime.
You coming very low.
Maybe is your gadget. But
I mean, go ahead. I'll tune it. Go ahead.
So here's the question. Here's the question, Isaac. When our military regime, though wouldn't even have to ask you to join the party. You would have
even had a ring. I think it was major, right?
So this assertion that it was for political reasons for which Baka was fired, it's not true.
No, but the rubbish. They've been talking absolute rubbish.
And this is the problem. This is the problem some of us have with Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai. He does not say the truth, even at his age. And this is problematic and troubling. This man lies openly, blatantly, and with dry face, like we say in Liberia. But here's something I want to ask you, because it's also reported that Boakai was fired and recalled. He was out of country, fired and recalled. So how does asking you to join a political party you refuse? You go on a mission, a diplomatic mission, but you get fired and recalled effectively and immediately. So that means this was so urgent that they had to get rid of you.
Right. So I mean,
but this brings in the issue of the PL 480, the case of the PL 480, and I will send that documentation to you so that maybe you can read that documentation and understand how Boakai. And as a matter of fact, for record, this is not the first time for Boakai to squander opportunities. That's not the first time. He squandered opportunity under the Dole regime. Opportunities were squandered. But then the bread basket, Labrador bread basket, Lofa Canto, a bread basket, I know they'll be making. Do you know what it means to have 80 million in the 80s? To 80 million from 1980 to 1986? Do you know what that means? That's in fact,
let me say this to you. In fact, Bronsky, who was even active then, who was alive late now. If you can Google Bronsky account of that event, the recollection of that event, say when Boakai left LPNC, the farmers were not even, they were by the time he left LPNC, he went to ground zero. Because this is a man who doesn't even lead up behind. Because if you read anything about leadership, they say, well, you will not succeed until your successor succeed, right? Boakai did so much a bad way, never care for poor farmers. That he left LPNC, the pay was zero. That papi. He is, like you said, he is associated with squandering opportunities. So it is the first thing that comes out of him, right? Whatever you do all the time when you want to put it on other people, it just come out naturally. This same Boakai man here, brother, 12 years he worked with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. What leadership attribute did he exhibit at the time, right? When he worked with Madam Sirleaf. What was the leadership attribute he exhibited at the time to say, okay, I'm working with a leader, I'm going to persuade her to do this? What did he do? 12 unbroken years. He's in his own word, he said he was a packer. Today, he is a liability on the Liberian government. The government is paying Mr. Boakai salary, his pension benefit, on the basis of working for 12 years and we're all showing anywhere results. He himself said, our packer, when I was packer, I didn't do anything meaningful, but the law said you must give me benefits, so I'll still shamelessly collect my benefit. That's why when I say Boakai made we didn't look good, this is it. Boakai is still collecting his pension benefit from the CDC government, I say he's trying to replace. How can you be on Pharaoh's salary and you still say you care for poor people? You know how many poor people in Liberia get take government pay? They're not taking pay. And Boakai, you taking pay every day, every month, and Boakai collect his pension benefit. The pension for which he stayed 12 years. 12 years. Boakai stayed 12 years. He said, a packer. Government of Liberia still paying somebody for being packer. If I were Minister of Finance, I would revisit that law. I would pass a bill where I say, look, if they made a vice president, he not do correct work, will not be compelled to gain money at the end of the tenure. Correct? We got to revisit all that. The same thing we do with some of the lawmakers, then, right? Some of the lawmakers go where they pass one law, at the time they leave, government still paying them benefit. Benefit for what? For not representing your people well? There's the money that going in the hole. He paid former lawmaker and benefit. Why law the part that made Liberia progressive? Zero. I see you do a Bwaka. Shamelessly going there and collecting. So CDC can beat their chest and say, but this man say we buy government, we keep paying a pension. They may be paying. Madam Sally, to show that she was an astute politician, she won to be what? Senator in the Doe administration. She said, I will not take off, I will not wear with the Bogo. I go. Bwaka, he not say I will not wear with the people. He said, I will take pension benefit from them. I told them the other time, it's classless, it's inelegant. It doesn't bring any dignity to that office. He said, oh, that a benefit. But what do you call about in the Bible, right? He said, not everything that is like lawful is expedient, right? So Paul teaching to his mentee, Timothy. He said, Timothy, not everything that is lawful is expedient. Bwaka, not everything that is lawful is expedient. If you say CDC bar, why are you going there and taking salary from them every month? And taking the salary for a job that you are a packer for? This is Bwaka. Liberian people, pay attention. This man will carry our country in the hole. If you deafen your ear to the warning we're giving you, tomorrow don't blame anybody. Blame yourself. First thing, Bwaka is not in good health. Some of our friends who support Unity Party, they talking, oh, let's talk policy, let's do that, let's do this. When you talk the policy, who's supposed to carry out the policy? The policy will be carried out by what the ministers, right? And who's supposed to be to give directive to the minister? That is sick Bwaka. When the man sick, he will want to carry out the policy. He be in hospital. He be in hospital bed. He will be telling Brandon Samuka, say, don't do that one, don't do that one. Brandon Samuka, pay attention to him. He probably lie, say, hey, you already know Brandon Samuka, right? Oh, so your man who already used to steal post so your people money. And you don't take instruction for sick Bwaka in sick bed. You understand what I'm talking about? That man is sick. So forget about all the policy BS talk that they want to talk about. You want to talk policy talk? Let's show us evidence that Bwaka is in excellent health. There is a basis for our conversation. And you can't convince me that man in good health, all the policy talk is a mirage. It's going nowhere. Because a sick president will not ensure that these policies are executed aggressively or progressively. Correct? So the first thing we need from Bwaka people, let them come with convincing evidence that he's in good health. Let them also not gloss over and tell deliberate lie that he was dismissed because told wanted him to join NDB or rubbish. Though form the government account, which their own friend Dylan brought the old newspaper and put it upside. Clearly said that Bwaka was investigated. He and his controller, in fact, his controller confessed. The same way Waterford confessed. The controller. So Bwaka always have been liking criminals, right? The controller himself confessed to the crime. Now, how can you working? If you were working government, right? You're saying the minister here, or the big boss man here, then the controller will steal money. The big boss man, I know, brother. He thought he believed that rubbish. And saying that time, Bwaka, you not vest with the controller who say, oh, President, don't ask. I don't want to steal the money. Now my boss man stole it. Bwaka, I'm very well message about my man because he stole money. They dismissed to all. I very with you. Bwaka, I'm very with the man. Everywhere Bwaka go, he carry the man getting job. That the man who is a good president can run Liberia. Everywhere Bwaka go, he carry for the man. He getting job. He getting job. And put him and confess to the government that he the one stole the money. Correct? So it's just the small man taking the shot for the big boss man. You understand it?
That similar behavior we can compare that with similar behavior with President Donald Trump, who took Michael Cohen him throughout.
Aha.
Out later on when the Fed push and separated him, Michael Cohen started to spare the bean. Not only that, even his accountant also most recently in a case in New York. When they really tie him down for 2, he started to open up about some of the criminal activities that he had to, and that's how these guys operate. They take these people then, kind of bring them in so that they can be skewed one way, and also they owe them loyalty to the point wherein they say, what will go to the other job, we'll be able to bring you through. You don't have to worry, and you'll not be on a job. And it's a continual process. And they roll on and on and on.
No, but that's a valid point. The only thing is, Bwaka I just smart with his man Massacre with 40, right? He didn't let 40 go. Donald Trump he let Cohen go. He made Cohen vest. Because he made Cohen vest, Cohen started talking, right? But the other thing is, even in Liberia, right? People who follow the governance of the country, people who are active in the national politics, they always express concern. In fact, I think that of Sawyer, one of his reform he proposed was something that Bwaka had been doing willingly. That when you leave a ministry or agency, don't carry the controller or the accountant with you. Everywhere, every time you see ministers carry the controller and the accountant with them, something inside. Everywhere Bwaka went, my man, Bwaka carry a accountant for it with him. Everywhere. But Bwaka, the only man who know accountant, but the only man who can cover his trial when they do bad thing in government. Ask Bwaka, let Bwaka carry everywhere Bwaka went carry for it with him. Everywhere. Right now, you get Bwaka sleeping job, you bring for it. Say, my man, you don't want to say it for the money counting. He carry for it everywhere because for it can cover his track and he doesn't want for it to get there to tell the true story. This is Bwaka. This is the man we're talking about. When people can say, oh, he's a good man, he's not there, he's not that. Bwaka has been dismissed 2 times. He can't erase them. Even if he says it's a political, then a political scandal. Then you scandal plague. Kumi has not been dismissed anywhere. Somebody brought you any record and say Kumi was dismissed, even on political grounds? No. Kumi was never dismissed on any political ground. Kumi has been working in corporate like America and been doing his best. In fact, he is a shining example of a corporate success story. That's why we are saying Kumi should be the one to lead our country after we are. That's why we're saying this, because he will be able to help to make Liberia better. He said he will make sure Liberian children will get back to school, and good school for that matter. That's what Kumi is saying. Kumi is saying, Bwaka was vice president over there. What did he do for even the school there in Foya? Zero. Vice president, you not encourage the president to say, oh, let's do so. Let's do so. He said he was Parker. That is the excuse he want to give. It's a shameless excuse. 12 years, you exercise no leadership influence over your boss. If I had worked with somebody for 12 years and don't exercise any influence to get anything done properly, I would be ashamed of myself. And Bwaka is not ashamed of himself. He will put out nonsense in the public. I'll pack out for 12 years, but you're pack out for 12 years. You want to go take government pay for the 12 years that you're pack out for. Nothing can be more shameless than this. 12 years pack out. You still taking pay for being pack out for 12 years. And you know the public people are not embarrassed by this. They're still marching behind him. And they want to dance. You know, brother, if we all love our country genuinely, we got to be able to say true fearlessly. And all that we say is true. The Bwaka Pudo Ujeko, he can't discount it, even though he tried to contradict it, but he will not contradict it because the truth is tall. The truth with towers. Bwaka was dismissed by Professor Dr. Sawyer. Dr. Sawyer said, I will file it on a political reason and dismiss it for political reason. One powerful woman asked me, Dr. Sawyer didn't even call the woman a nameless woman. Do you really believe that a nameless woman will put pressure on Professor Dr. Sawyer if Bwaka was doing good work at LPRC? You were not lazing your butt and sleeping on the jaw. I do not believe that a professional sleeper and an aging Bwaka will rescue Liberia. I don't believe so. So I will be a high-headed realist to be pointing to this. No matter how much United Party people curse me, I am immune to cursing. I don't worry about people cursing, brother. Because I'm not, you can test me, sir. I'll be talking my truth. You don't want to be cursing me, making yourself look bad. Because we're talking true.
I got one more caller here. Let me get this caller, and then I'll get one more, and then we'll probably wrap it up for the day. Yeah, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Hey, Moses, this Lufa.
What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, my man. I've got Isaac here with me. We are having this discussion. What's going on? What's your take so far?
I'm listening to part of Isaac's section, and I must say, I pretty much agree with 98% of what the brother's saying. And I think we keep playing with the reality of what is happening on ground. All right? And the only part of what he stated that I disagree with is referencing an individual who claimed, to be a smart young man, or he even described this person as smart and intelligent. Let us stop fooling our people. Playing smart is not being smart. Again, you can play smart, but you're not smart. That's the reality. Anybody who's smart in the right mind will see the reality on ground that we cannot go backward. Who's smart will consider a backward movement for transformation. You think about it, okay? This is reality. You can. How can a smart person, a smart young man, all right, believe in an 80-year-old man for transformation for his future, and you classify that as smart? I think literally you're just trying to gloss over the reality and the truth to avoid telling the brother, no, you're playing smart, but you're not in reality smart. And sincerely, you're not smart. That is it. Let's be honest about it. For us to move Liberia forward, we must be blunt with the reality. And I was side with my brother Jefferson Koji, and I was still blunt and not blunt. Okay? Because I think that's the truth. How can we today listen to young Liberians roam the streets and say they would take kush? You're talking about a drug. All right? They agreed to be victims of corruption simply because they want to align with an individual who claims to be popular. This is an individual from reliable source. Called me a member of the Unity Party who actually sat down and told them, if you don't print your own T-shirt, then we will not have a rally on the 17th. This is from Joseph Numa Boykai pretending to be woke after 12 consecutive years of serving as a vice president, where he was just giving free money as some form of sympathy, sympathizing with him. Just like Liberians today have decided to sympathize with this brother. And you sit and then classify a young man who's supposed to live, who have been given the opportunity to live outside of Liberia and have seen how things are done in the Western world. You want to classify him as smart? Don't fool the brother. The reality is, look, a lot of the young people back home, they have often dwelt on theories. You can read all the book in the world, but when you have not practicalized the actual understanding of it, you will stand just like a dome. You don't know where you at. You pretend to really understand it, but the reality is you really don't understand it. So let us be honest to ourselves, my brother. The reality here is we must take the bull by this horn. Everybody who's deceiving themselves and defeating themselves at the struggle must be called out. The likes of Darius DeLon and other people, I don't even count Darius DeLon as one, because after his 9 years, then we will start to discuss Darius DeLon. But until then, we can only apologize to Liberian for the mere fact that they were competent Liberian.
Yeah.
Individuals in society whom we did not pay attention to. Instead, we focus on the loud speaking or deceptive message of Darius DeLon and thought that he was in the best interest of Liberians. And so for that reason, we consider we had the likes of Kim and Weeks and other reputable people in society who were part of the process. Unfortunately for us, we did not look in that direction. We brought one play with the mellow kind of individual to sell himself, and today we see where we are. It's not about change, it's about chance. For us to move Liberia forward, my brother, we need change. No amount of chance or chances will take us from where we are. We must actually sacrifice our time. So that is the reality. I agree with 98% of what the brother said tonight, with the exception of the 2% where brother wanting to present him as being smart, but no, he's not.
Thank you so much.
But I agree. Let agree and disagree, right? Sometimes smart people can do stupid things, right? So there's this. I think it's an also more about Albert Einstein. Is it, my man? You are a genius at electrical engineering. You are a genius physicist. But my man, your appearance thing, you don't work on it very well. You're not a genius in looking good or carrying yourself properly, right? But there was this joke about But I mean, I can see some smart people can do stupid things. You know, people can be academically good, they go to class, they score good grades, but they can make stupid decision, right? And for me, this is where we can draw the line. I mean, I can't gloss over the fact that somebody go to school and graduate with honor. He's clever, but he's academically clever. He's not making, because if you are a very, if it pains me, right, to see somebody who got solid academic credential to start doing things and even setting fire to everything you achieve in the name of supporting Bwaka. For me, it's a painful thing because this Bwaka that you're marching behind has done too many disgraceful things. I mean, in my piece, I talk about these things that the old man have been doing, and nothing that elevates the country or even himself. Imagine staying hands in glove with a guy like Witherspoon, who have publicly confessed to putting thousands of American lives at risk, including people in Bwaka's age group. Hanging out with that kind of guy. And Bwaka is even in knowing the fact that this man has been using the ill-gotten wealth, all this criminally acquired wealth, to promote his adulterous lifestyle. He enthusiastically promotes his adulterous lifestyle. Roman about him even enjoying the nakedness of his own wife sister. What does the Bible mean? And what does the Bible mean to Deacon Bwaka? He's a deacon in the Baptist church. That this guy is proud to be committing adultery, publicly committing adultery, engaging in an adulterous affair. So when I talk about some of these private conduct, brother, no matter where you put it, private conduct is a reliable indicator of what people will do in private. That's why I put in my sister Nyongli, who had 2 children by a married man named Cyril Ali when she was not married to the man. These are people behind Bwaka. These are people who have no decent respect for morality. And in my piece, I talk about Bwaka himself decapitating morality. So, brother, yes, I agree that you agree 98%. That 2%, you can give it to me because it is based on my own informed, knowledge and reading. That clever people can do stupid things. Some people can be academically smart, but they can make dumb political decisions. It's real. You know what I mean? So, like you said about Bwaka, the point he made about Bwaka, which I agree with, 40 years Bwaka being in government, 40 years in different governments, 12 years in the Selly administration as vice president. He made no important friends that will help his campaign. He's now going again to tax poor people, put pressure on poor people to print their own their own t-shirt. It's the same scheme that Dillon used, even though Dillon has taken 20,000 from Musa Belete to support his campaign. Dillon was still lying to wheelbarrow people, say, I'm a campaign brogo, and the people were carrying on wheelbarrow for free. They putting Dillon on their motorbike for free. I wrote I think about 2 or 3 pieces. I said, that Dillon guy is a con artist. Leper can lead the sport behind. Monkey can lead blind behind. Dillon a con. They didn't pay attention until they went there. Today, Liberia is among countries that pay their lawmaker highest amount of money. In our whole sub-region, the only people that surpass us small, I'm told, it is Nigeria. The lawmaker in Ghana, as big as Ghana is, bigger than Liberia, economy doing well. They pay their lawmaker less than we pay our own. Sarah don't pay their lawmaker less. In Liberia, that was what they don't promise. I will not take anything above 5,000 today. I think he's taking more than 9,000, even looking for more. Some people still taking serious. That's the Liberia, brother. And when I was telling people, I said, if you gave Dillon this senatorial job, he will serve as a disadvantage to some of us. So tomorrow when we come, say, oh, but I said Dillon was good. You got what the man doing now. You ask Jackson, yeah, way small, yeah. You brought Dillon to us. That's what I'm saying to the Liberian people. Bwaka will not make a good president. The signs and signals are clear. The decisions that he's making now say something about his mental decline. They show that he's not thinking properly. You can be former ambassador and be comfortable with a U.S. sanction warlord and notorious killer like Prince Johnson. You can be former ambassador. You're doing this. The Americans say if you make business with people who are sanctioned by us, we will not make business with you. Boaka said, I don't care. What is he doing? What is he doing? So it's not a good decision. It is not a good decision that promotes Liberia-US relationship.
Right.
All right? That's what I'm saying here. So even in the diplomatic circle, people are laughing at the old man. Now, if you are a young man who got high academic record, how can you be marching behind this man? And my thing is, okay, you can march behind him, but why are you pulling another young man down? Because he failed and by exam. That young man who failed by exam, he making effort. Boaka got Blamado degree. Same Boaka graduated. He didn't go to no other advanced school. He just tapped all that experience. He's a mediocre man. He got a Blamado degree. And even a vice president showed that he doesn't even have too much regard for solid academic training. His son went to Australia. Australia is another school that's not Ivy League school in America. You be vice president and you don't invest in your children. Say, I will send you to Oxford. I will send you to Cambridge. Harvard is here or Georgetown. Americana had most of the young brother you see behind Americana, they went to Georgetown. They went to good school, Ivy League school. Boaka's son went to Australia. That is premium Boaka education. If the man can send his own son to Australia, I can go to Australia without even opening book and I'll pass. I will not read. I just let teacher talk in the class. I just pay about pass. Even the picking who marching behind him, he can go to Australia. I'm picking and go to Australia. If you're not even opening a boy, you will produce. I play Boaka send his son to Australia. Then he say his son that his spokesman. If behind him, oh, my partner carry, my partner there. I said, but man, sit down. You can't be spokesman for your part. This is inelegant. It's wrong. It's indecent.
I said, let's wrap it. Let's wrap it up for today.
You know, so brother, we'll wrap it up. Look, yeah. But I've already told the Liberian people enough, and I will be doing this show most of the time. You know, just I'm a little busy in the US now. But I tell our people, if you love Liberia, if you want a change in Liberia, a genuine change in Liberia, Comey is the way. Comey is the way. Boaka will not give a better Liberia. He has shown to us, even the people behind him, I presume in all money, one. These are not people you can look at and say, oh yeah, they will really change the country. No. If you want business as usual, take Boaka. Because people in our age, they are not revolutionary people. They're not changing things. You check it out. These are status quo people. The age will tell you, man, the status quo, man. You're not going to change anything. Look, simple aphorism. What I say is, I don't know what is an aphorism that's associated with Liberia, you know, it's akin, right? But why would people say back home, you cannot teach old dog new trick? What Boaka have been doing for the past 78 years, for the past 78 years, or for the past 70 years, promoting tribalism, he's not going to change when he's president. What he been doing? He can't teach old dog new trick. Why Boaka keeping grudge for people? I know the grudge he carrying in half of me now. You care I want to a grave because you already here. Boaka keeping grudge for people. When Amarakone met him, he said he get late. I know that 17. Where you get late? 17 grievances. What kind of grievances you get? You get late. You get grievances still, papi. The bag gonna be bygone, man. Boaka. That was one of the show. I said, look, what made Nelson Mandela to tower as one of the greatest leader in the world? You know what? It was because his ability to forgive. So let bygone be bygone, man. If a boy would tie me down, come to the inauguration. Boaka would not do that. It's not here again. Even the church he goes to, there's a whole ministry in Christendom on reconciliation. Boaka still getting here. Ellen, hold your hand, make you vice president. You still get grievances against her. That's the man you want to make president.
Thank you, Isaac.
You think he's going to change at age 78? Because by that time you're going to be 79-year-old. You're going to be 79 years. You're going to change. The grudge he's been carrying all along, he will have an opportunity now to carry out, to vent. No serious politicians who have animals against anybody. It's politics, brother. When you get grievances, you get laced. So, brother, for Liberia to go forward, we don't need old men who in our age range, who is not in good health. He will not rescue Liberia. If he can even rescue Liberia, the way to rescue Liberia, Mr. Boaka, is to endorse, get a full-throated endorsement to Mr. Cummings. If Boaka were to give a full-throated endorsement to Mr. Cummings, that would be the only rescue that he can give to Liberia. Anything other than that, he will not be able to rescue our country. And even people behind him will not rescue the country. All the people behind are not agents of people who can rescue, or not agents of rescue people. I mean, these are not agents. These are ghouls and vampires. Kelly Tyler, Brandon Samunka, this disgrace and dismissed liar. You know what dismissed? He doesn't want to talk about that one, right? He was dismissed from Episcopal school. Dismissed.
I said maybe tomorrow you can join us on the show. You can join us.
Yeah, so but thank you for having me. Let our people do the right thing. If they're not happy with President Weah, let them come to Cummings. But if you're not happy with Weah, you go to Boaca, you will be moving from the pot to the fire hat. Because Boaca will not help our country. He can't rescue our country from all that we know to be true and all that I have said, which I said truthfully. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Folks, this is Anthony Isaac W. Jackson Jr. He was our guest today. We want to say thanks for following us. Thanks for being with us, for sticking with us today. Isaac made a case. It's always an honor having Isaac here. We will connect with Isaac tomorrow. Hopefully, if his schedule permitting, he will join
Let it be hopefully, because I'm not too sure why the schedule will longer.
Yeah, but I want to say hopefully now.
Yeah, let it be hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully tomorrow he can join us if his schedule permitting. But tomorrow we'll be on again for another edition. Thank you so much, Isaac, for making time to be here with us.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I salute you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So, folks, we'll draw the curtains down here today. A lot of things. Take it for joke. Take it for fun. As we've always said, whether you like Isaac or not, the truth is true. It doesn't matter when people are saying the truth. If you're serious about moving Liberia forward, Joseph Boaca cannot be your option. If you're serious about moving Liberia forward, Joe Weah cannot be your options. We've said this over and over. We'll continue to say it. And if by any mistake you choose to put any one of these two, Joseph Boaca or Joe Weah, to be president for the country, can't say goodbye for another 6 years. Can't say goodbye. And just for programming note, you can also kiss some more goodbye because, to be honest with you, I'll be moving on my life. I wouldn't have time to come and sit and come and tell the same thing over and over and give myself hard time. I ain't got no time for that. Nope. I'll be seeing yours, I'll be passing. I don't even get time for your thing because you're not serious people. You don't want to move forward. You don't want to change the country. You don't want to do what is right. Y'all be there. Y'all be making your noise, killing each other, disturbing, just giving God hard time and calling on God to come and rescue you. I will put my face somewhere different and do my different thing. To see me come on Facebook and talk politics after these elections, you have to go to heaven and bring Jesus to come and talk to me to do that. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time. I am not. Any attempt to not do what is right and vote in the right people and you revert to Joe Weah or United Party, you'll cancel them all out. I'm not talking again. I'm a professional person. I say, I'm not coming to waste my time beyond another 6 more years of giving myself hard time coming on Facebook, talking plenty, wasting my time. That means I will do that. I will sit down, chilling, and watch your children, yourself, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister suffer to the teeth. And I will come on my page and write that you should enjoy what you wanted. And I challenge any man or woman to come on my page and come right for anything. When I address you there, I don't care how old you are. When one response I will give you, you will pull your life together. You never want to bring that foolishness to me. Never in your life again, you will walk on my post to respond. I don't care what my relate. You come. I'm waiting for you. The way I'm setting for you to make the wrong decision. And some of us decide to move on with our lives. And we see your suffering. I said, I told you already, my next move in the United States will be to lobby to ensure that Liberians do not remit or send their money back there for any other thing. It will not happen. That will be my next campaign in the United States. You ain't seen nothing. I will invest my time, my resources, and my energy in that. You will suffer. Your children will suffer when you move on that next time. When you move from that next time, you will make decisions to benefit the public. By that time, some of you old enough, you're not even able to vote. Because as old as you are now, you passing around here supporting somebody like, what he mean? Boaka. You don't make any sense. But we're watching. We're watching your after the election, we know if you're serious or if you're not serious. And any decision you make will support me. I will support you in your decision. Me, Steve Boley, I will support you in your decision. I will be one of the chief lobbyists to ensure that Liberians enjoy the decision that they make by selecting Joria or Joseph Boaka. I will be one of the chief lobbyists. I want you to know that. I want you to know that. Because this time around, if you think you will play around with the future, you'll get away with it. You think you're suffering on Joria? Not suffering on Joria. You made mistake and you let Joseph Boaka. Or you made mistake and you let Joria again. You made mistake and do that. You make mistake and do that. Me, I openly challenge you. You made mistake and go there. You're going to let Joria. You got options to move this country forward. You got options to do what is right and get rid of these parking stadium, paying people, trucking people, this foolishness, this stupid cycle that been going on for 18 years. We have the perfect opportunity to sweep it out and tell them, say, you're going to sit down somewhere. Let's move this country in a new, respectable, dignified direction. Well, the opportunity is right here. They're not talking about that. I see you're jumping around. Tomorrow, we'll talk about your deceptions as Liberians. You are enabling the problems that we see today. We got options to move this country forward. We got options. We got options to get rid of the nightmare that we have for 18 years. The United Party corruption, the CDC corruption for 6 years, the United Party. We got options to walk past that stage and move on as a country. And attract foreign investors and attract serious-minded people to our country to come and do something good for our country. You're passing around gambling your own future. When we come and talk it, you want kind of attack or what it goes. Me, I can always tell me. I said for life. I'm only talking because I want to make sure we do what is right. I am set. I don't talk like brand politics. I said. I cool. I straight. I super. I'm talking for your own good. You come here and you go and you select those people and you bring them back. I won't see anybody, any human being can't in my inbox after 2023, 2024 and can say you can't let go talk for the Liberian people. Oh, you're not talking for the Liberian people. Oh no. You think some of our life rely on politics, eh? Our life not rely on politics. Eh? Like your God money, your God party, your man, your party, your brother, your sister, and your life don't rely on politics. No, I can go any country, I will make it because I'm a professional. I can tell you anytime. I'm not afraid to say it. I earn my straps. I work hard for where I am. So I'm not depending on your politics. I don't take money from politicians. I say what I say, I say what I say. I challenge any politician, whether behind the hall, in front of the hall, to come and say they give me money or I take money from them. First of all, they will not get taught. That's the very first thing. Just so you know. We see where we talk, also talk where. Because when I ready to talk my thing and when I ready to keep it 100%, I don't want to be looking over my shoulder. I don't want nobody to get anything over me. So I say as it is and I call it as it is. I don't look back. So I don't go in the corner to go discuss anything. If I were taking some of your deal and I have been trying to make behind closed door, then they are singing different songs. My song has been consistent. Joria, Joseph Boaka, when you hear the two names run away, stay away from them. Don't engage into them. You are setting yourself up for a serious failure in the next generation, for a serious challenge, in the country for a serious challenge. If you don't believe it, try it. Vote them. Hooray. Vote them. And just so you know for your announcement, someone will not die. Nope, we'll be right here. We'll not die, some of us. We'll be right here. And we'll celebrate your suffering. It will remind you of the choices you made, that you must enjoy those choices. Because in life, when you make choices and decisions, you have to enjoy them. You have to. There are consequences to our choices and our decisions. If you think that joke, the thing what I'm telling you, if you think this is political conversation, if you think that your regular conversation, we'll laugh together. But we'll see who will laugh the last. We'll see who the joke will be on. We'll see who the joke will be on. We will see who the joke will be on. We'll see who will get funny face later. Because the same people that we passing around with Joseph Braga and they want and that one. God forbid you get in power. God forbid you get in power. Anyway, tomorrow we'll talk other news and other issues. We look forward to it. Thank you so much, folks. It was a good time with Isaac. I should be returning Isaac. I'm getting a couple of calls here. Thank you so much. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed week, folks. Tomorrow will be on. You don't want to miss tomorrow's edition. You don't want to miss tomorrow's edition. Don't miss it. Thank you. Let's have a good night.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story. Oh yeah, you know, on the beat, I be a loca. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook. But that's so la la. You working better. Loving you, I can get that say you photo. My advice for you in my way I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment. Got your blessing. Enjoyment. No more stressing. Enjoyment. Got your blessing. Enjoyment.